Like, ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? Ayy, coming down like precipitation. I ain't never met a limitation. Hater plotting my elimination. Gotta go to Google for the information. I'm a superstar, so I gotta shine. Top dollar be the bottom line. Bottom feeding out of line. Turn your heart rate to a dotted line. Yeah, my zodiac probably dollar sign. Got the energy to win in my I'm feeling great. Got a date with destiny, focusing on my fate. I don't give a what you rapping, you been a fake. I'm everything that they ain't. It can't be, it won't be. Wanna see me fall, I can't go, I won't leave. Coming from the block with plain clothes and police. Straight up to the top with bankrolls and rollies. Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? Ayy, 12 can't really stop, so I'm still pushing like a mosh pit. Ice dripping, think I'm hot. In a yellow bucket with the mop stick. I've been jugging jams like wholesale. Everything must go sell. Hitting with the old well. Need 100 million on the low scale. On my worst night, I'm the best. Wouldn't mess with you, couldn't cap to him. Homie spotted me like 700, brought 1100 right back to him. If I can't do it, then it ain't real. I just make dollars, I don't make deals. I've been going hard in the paint, still blowing kush clouds till I can't feel like. Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? Got 5 on it.
Ayy, poppin' like I'm supposed to. Watch out for the people that ain't close to. Speak a little something you could toast to. I ain't tryna hear about what you won't do. Moving like I'm into. Hit the ground running like the rent do. Speak a little something that you're into. I ain't tryna hear about what you been through. Like hold up, say what's the hold up. I got the pack, who got the roll up? I'm tryna pull up. It seem like every time I show up, it gotta go up. See the drip, they see the glow up. Oh, now they know us. See, it's funny how my pockets out of shape, but I fit for the flex. Clear the phone call, hit my chick with a text. Parlay through the bird with my drip from the jets. Save a couple hundred by your with the rest. I prefer my reefer with Henny and Coke. Please don't be stingy, got plenty to smoke. Show up and act up and back to the crib. I do not stun, I just rap what I live. Seem like they doing the most for the clout. Did what I said so they know what I'm about. Show up and act up and back to the crib. I do not stun, I just rap what I live. Ayy, winning like I ought to. I ain't wanna do it, but I got to. Smoking what my doctor told me not to. Got these wishing they was hot too. Ballin' like I need to. Got my exes wishing for a redo. Smell the marijuana when I speed through. Hit her with a tip, that's a preview. Hold up, wait up, get your weight up. Shit, get your money, not your hate up. Boy, draw a play up. I flip my wrist, it a layup. She wanna lay up. I gotta get it, I'ma stay up. I'm all the way up, I got my pay up. I ain't playing with you, I'm a coach now. Commentating, do the most now. I be somewhere booted with my toes down. Make little baby tooted with her nose down. I prefer my reefer with Henny and Coke. Please don't be stingy, got plenty to smoke. Show up and act up and back to the crib. I do not stun, I just rap what I live. Seem like they doing the most for the clout. Did what I said so they know what I'm about. Show up and act up and back to the crib. I do not stun, I just rap what I live.
Come on in. Hope everybody is doing good. Hope everybody is having a good Thursday night. Come on in, hit that like button. Let me know where you guys are checking in from. Let me know where you guys are checking in from. Hope everybody is having a good day. Hope everybody is well. Hope everybody is prosperous. Come on in, come on in, come on in. Hit that like button, guys. Come on in, hit that like button. How's everybody doing tonight? I see we got Sean in the building, Vincent Johnson, Georgia, Mika's in the building. Hey, how you doing? Kelvin Birch, what's up? What's up? What's up? It's D Walt, Cleveland in the building. What else we got? What else? Devontae Smalls, what's going on? Ivan Tony, good evening, good evening, good evening. Expediting America, I see you on your way to Chicago. All right, all right. You're on your way to my hometown. All right. Well, be safe on your journey. Andrew Green, Brick City in the building, New Jersey. What's going on? What's going on? Sean Allen in the building. What else we got? Chili Willie, what up? What up? What's this? INGS Logistics. What's going on? Dragonfly, what is going on? I'm surprised Dragonfly wasn't here Monday. I knew if Dragonfly would have been here Monday, he would have been really active in the chat. What is going on? Big Herm in the building. Kelvin Birch. Who else we got? Great Polo, I see you. Come on in, everybody. Hit that like button. Let me know where you guys are checking in from. We're going to get this show on the road. I'm not going to try to hold you guys too long tonight. Let's get this out the way. Let's pay some bills. I think their time is running up for this sponsorship. I think they got maybe another week. Let me pull that up. Let's see here. All right, guys, are you a small business owner in need of capital to take your business to the next level? Look no further than Rock Financial, your trusted partner in business finance. I recently had the opportunity to speak with Rock Financial. They were on the show a few weeks ago, and they have a bunch of products that I was amazed with. With Rock Financial, you can access a wide range of funding options, including business loans, lines of credit, equipment financing, and even merchant cash advances. They work with businesses of all sizes and industries, so whether you're just starting out or looking to expand, Rock Financial has a solution for you. So whether you need capital to grow your business, purchase equipment, or simply manage cash flow, Rock Financial is here to support you every step of the way. Visit their website in my description below. Make sure you hit that link today to learn more and to start your journey towards financial success. Once again, thanks to Rock Financial, the sponsor of tonight's podcast. To all my subscribers, remember your dreams and business aspirations are within reach with the right partner, Rock Financial. Your success is their business. Come on in, guys. Episode 11 of the Rolling Commerce Podcast. This is me. I am Mark, the mentor. How's everybody doing tonight? We're going to be talking about proper preparation. Proper preparation, preventing poor performance. I'm not going to hold you guys too long tonight. The reason I want to talk about proper preparation because I see there's a trend. There's always a trend in the box truck space online. And somebody sent me something yesterday. I had saw it in passing, but someone sent it to me yesterday from a creator over on Instagram that's in the box truck community. And I can't remember what the post said verbatim, but in layman's terms, it was something to the effect of, just basically start your business, and you can, figure it out or make it better, along the way. And earlier this week we were talking about the whole analysis paralysis thing, which is basically analysis paralysis is just basically overthinking something. All right. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, that does not pertain to business. It does not pertain to business. Whatever business you get into, you want to properly plan. You want to understand what you're investing in. What is a term that I always use? Don't invest into something that you do not understand. All right. Don't invest into nothing you don't understand. Business, stocks, crypto, real estate, whatever it is. Don't put your money in it if you don't fully understand it. How do you understand it? How do you get some form of understanding? You got to do the research. This is why earlier this year, well, most of this year, I've been on a tangent about creating a business plan, because when you create your business plan, it's going to force you to do all the necessary research, right, that you need to understand what you're investing in, your market analysis, your competitive analysis, your thesis, your mission. All this stuff that goes into a business plan is going to force you to go do the research. A lot and a major part of the reason why so many people fail in business in general, but we're going to stick specifically with this trucking thing, is because people don't do the research. They don't do the knowledge. They don't do a business plan. They just jump into it because Johnny or Man, we're going to use Man because Man told them they can run up a bag with a box truck. All right. Man told them they could run up a bag with a box truck. All right. And then people done went out, and not everybody, we don't even have to always use the PPP or the pandemic. You know, we've known people that have taken money from their children's college fund. We know people that have dipped into their 401k. We know people that have dipped into their savings. I've come across, or I've heard stories from any type of example. I've come across somebody, or I've heard through Kirk or somebody that maybe came to him with a sob story because they've drained their life savings because Man told them they could run up a bag if they got a box truck. And they listened to Man, and Man sent them off, right? Because they didn't do their due diligence by getting the full understanding of this space that's called, what people call the box truck game. I call it the box truck business, or the trucking business, or the logistics industry, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So tonight we're going to talk about, preparation. All right. The 5 P's: proper preparation, preventing poor performance. Come on in. I see everybody coming on in. Cons Logistics say he on his way to the crib too. Okay. Everybody coming in this way, this weekend. Got loads coming this way. All right. Blessings to you, Mark. Keep it up. Appreciate you. What up, Mark Brown? What up? Paul Smith, what up? J. Cole, I see you. All right, so let's get started. All right, let's make this a little interactive tonight. Let me share my screen. You know what? Let's get rid of that. Let's do this. All right, let me see if I can. Oops, where did my playback screen go? All right, there it go. Hold on, y'all. Where's my playback screen? Let's do that. And then what I want to do is I want to pull this up on this screen, and I want to blow that up. All right, y'all can still see me. All right, back. All right, so let's make this a little interactive tonight. All right, so I got a question for y'all. I want somebody to answer it for me in the chat. What is the most powerful tool that you, as a box truck business owner, or a cargo van business owner, or whatever you're doing in this space, what is the best tool that a business owner can have? What is the number one tool that a business owner should have? Somebody answer that for me in the chat. Let's see if somebody can get the right answer. I want to know what's the number one tool a business owner should have. All right, INGS already got it. I was going to go with Great Polo Mind, but knowledge is what I had, right? Knowledge, right? Knowledge, right? And that's something that I talk about all the time. I brag on it. I exemplify it. Knowledge is the number one tool that you should have as a business owner. So when I see things, and when people send me things, and when I see things that, that promote people just, going out on a whim and just doing something, I I think that's wrong information to give. I think that's wrong information that a person that's looking to invest their money, you know what I'm saying? I just think that's bad information. I think if you're going to invest in anything, you need to, you know, do the knowledge. Knowledge is very, very important. Knowledge has got me far in life. Even, I know, you guys, weren't with me in 2010 when I started, in the logistics industry. So you weren't able to see, that journey, but a lot of you have been a subscriber to my channel since the early days of when I started last year. And you guys can see my work ethic on how I built the channel up. So just kind of mirror that to how I built my moving company and my trucking, business up. A lot of information, a lot of knowledge, knowledge is power. Don't let anyone tell you different. All right. Knowledge will get you very, 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 very far. I've exemplified that this week. No one wants to hear. What is he talking about? Oh, no, it's James. All right. So knowledge will get you very far. All right. So look, let's get into it. I'm not going to hold y'all long tonight. All right. So knowledge. So knowledge is the nucleus, right? That's going to be the number one tool that you should have as a box truck business owner, right? Is knowledge, right? So what does knowledge give you? Because we're talking about the 5 P's tonight, right? Proper preparation, preventing poor performance. We don't want anybody to perform poorly. And a lot of people perform poorly that got into this space within the past couple of years. All right, so let me pick a color here. All right, so one of the main things I want people to understand, give me a second, y'all. I don't use this that often. So, every time I try to pull this out, I'll be sloppy with it. We're going to try to make it nice and neat tonight. All right. Informed. Oh, that's just be a C-I-S-O-N. Inform. All right. Informed decision making. All right. So knowledge is going to be the nucleus. All right. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. Informed decision making. A lot of people that enter into this space, they don't make well-informed decisions. They make ill-advised decisions. All right. And they start from the very beginning by not creating a business plan. Or they start by investing money into consultation with the wrong people. All right. All right. Knowledge equips business professionals with the information and insights they need to make informed decisions, right? Whether it's, strategic planning, investment choices, marketing strategies, hiring drivers, risk assessment, weighing options, choosing the best course of action, whatever it is. It is very imperative that you make well-informed decisions as a business owner in the box truck space. We see so many people don't make well-informed decisions. We see prime examples. I display prime examples of that all the time when I do testimonials. One of the major components of not making well-informed decisions of a box truck business owner is accounting. We got to do better. Or I should say the people that are out there that are not doing good need to do better. Not managing your books, easy way to fail. Easy way to fail. You got money coming in, you don't know where it's going. It's coming in and it's going out. Coming in, going out. You refuse to separate the business from your personal. And I've proved over and over and over and over again why so many people don't separate the business from the personal, because they can't afford it. Why? Because they don't make the sacrifices that they need to make. Living expenses are high. No discipline. No sacrifice. No sacrifice. So if you have money coming in and you leave what's called the rat race, or nowadays they call it the matrix, right, to start your own business, you're the number one decision maker for your business. So you have to be responsible. That level of responsibility that you may not have to have 100% of level of responsibility, right? Because no one is going to run a person's business better than the business owner. So when you work for a company or you work for someone else, you'll come to work, you'll be efficient, but there's days where you come to work and you may not be as efficient as the job would like you to be, but you know how to do enough just to get by and not get in trouble. You know how to be just efficient enough to get the job done. You know you can take an extra bathroom break and hide out in the bathroom or go in the bathroom and call Boo Bay and stay in there an extra 5-10 minutes because you know the manager that's on duty ain't going to really trip. And you'll just work a little bit harder the next hour. You can't do that when you're running your own business. When you're running your own business, you have to give more than 100%. If you're not willing to give your own business more than 100%, don't start a business. I know a lot of y'all admire, me and Kirk. You know what I'm saying? And we appreciate that. But what we would appreciate more is if you guys, the people who this message is pertaining to, would exercise some level of discipline, some level of sacrifice. Like this year is pretty much a wrap. Next year, I need to see people's accounting. I need to see people making more well-informed decisions when it comes to their bookkeeping. My testimonial is coming up, and I have mountains and cabinets. Every single thing from my first day up until now, I have either digital, paper, whether it's a manifest or a BOL or an invoice, I have it. I was on FaceTime with Kirk while I was going through all this stuff, right? And I was showing him all this stuff that I got from just everything over the years. I haven't shredded none of that stuff. I still have it all up until this very day. I wanted to get and show people how I kept my books when I first got started. I said, you know what? I hold people accountable, right? Maybe it's time for me to show people my bookkeeping from the early days, right? So I pulled out these composition notebooks because that's how I used to keep my books. And I actually showed them on Monday night show, which I wanted to kind of hold that. And I will, go through some of that stuff again when I do my testimonial. But I gave people a glimpse at how I kept my books in the early days. I pulled out a stack of composition notebooks like this because I would keep them month to month. And every single day I would create my own spreadsheet. I would take a ruler, I would draw the lines, truck 1, truck 2, truck 3, line, the worker, the hour, the job, how much the job paid, who worked on the job, what they got paid by hour, all the way down the gross, boom, the payroll. And then on the side, for those that were here that live stream on Monday, you saw this, I would have all the expenses for that day. And then I would deduct that, draw another line, boom, do another manual spreadsheet layout. And then at the bottom, in a big, you would see a number with a big circle. And that's what I made for today. And this was every day. And I went through it. And then what I would do is staple the receipts to the back of the paper. So as you flipped each paper, you would see my accounting, and then whatever was spent, the receipts were stapled. And I showed all this Monday. Some of this stuff was over 10 years old. The technology that exists now to make stuff easier didn't exist then. So after a long day of 3 to 4 moves, if I was on the truck some of those days, a lot of those jobs, when 2012 came around, I was removed. I would still have to come home and do the books. And I would have 2 binders. I would have the books for, the jobs, the payroll, what the gross for the job was, who worked, what they got paid, what we spent for the day, and then I would keep a separate composition notebook for payroll. And back then, early on, we were just taking straight cash, right? So every day I would cover payroll and I would take that money out and put it in a payroll envelope, and then all the money that I netted would keep it in a separate envelope, but I wouldn't even touch that net money until the end of the week when that payroll envelope, it was time to distribute that money, right? Because just in case something happened, I wanted to have an overabundance of cash flow. So when it was time to pay people at the end of the week, I had the payroll envelope. I already had the money in there. It was the exact amount because I had been putting it in there every day, and I just paid people. So making well-informed decisions. I don't care how tired you are at the end of the day. You need to handle your accounting. You got apps now. You don't even have to staple the receipts and save receipts and all this stuff. You could just get one of these apps, QuickBooks or whatever you want to use. Bookkeeping by GoDaddy. There's so many different options. And you could just snap a picture. Or you could just input it. Making well-informed decisions, all right? Next, knowledge. Where's my... Let's see. Let's pick another color. Man, I got to get better with this thing. Let's see. We're going to go this way with it. All right. We're going to go... I don't like that. It's too sloppy. We're going to go competitive advantage. And this is something that you guys hear me talk about a lot, all right? Proper preparation, preventing poor performance. Knowledge is the nucleus of that, right? And these are some things that doing the knowledge is going to make you stronger in these categories, which is ultimately going to make you a successful box truck business owner. Competitive analysis. Competitive advantage. I always talk about this because I always talk about how cutthroat this industry is. And you guys are starting to learn that. It's very competitive, and you have to have a competitive edge. And today, all right, especially today, it's very competitive today. All right. Knowledge can be a significant source of competitive advantage. Businesses that stay up to date, right, with industry trends. And I'm big on you guys with staying up with the current industry trends. All right. It's imperative that you stay up with the industry trends so you can stay ahead of the curve. That's one of the big, and I can say big a million times. One of the biggest importance of competitive advantage, because you want to outsmart your competition. You want to stay ahead of the curve. Listen, think about how many people would have listened to me last year that didn't listen to me last year. Think about the people who didn't listen to me if they would have listened to me. If I could tell you something and you listen to me and I say, look, this is going to happen 4 months down the line, you need to start pivoting now. A lot of people that didn't listen to me, if they would have pivoted into curbside, they would still be here today. The people that did are. The people who I said, you know what? I think you got box truck dreams and cargo van money. I think maybe you should start small and work your way up. And you guys see people come on all the time and say, hey, Mark, I listened to you, man. You was right. What's my competitive advantage on YouTube? Knowledge. Why? Because I'm more experienced than a lot of the people. What's your competitive advantage if you go into a 3PL logistics company? You want your competitive advantage. You want to be smarter than every single other contractor that's in that 3PL. That is going to be your competitive advantage. It's not money. See, people think money is the key, and money will, get you to higher heights. But here's the thing. It's a lot of stupid people with money. It's a lot of people that have money, but then they don't have the knowledge to know what to do with it. So you can have money, but if you don't have the knowledge to know how to move that money around, what good is it? You know how many stupid people I know from the hood growing up back in the day that was selling a lot of dope and they wanted to be trap rappers? They couldn't rap, but it was somebody in the hood that could really rap. So instead of them taking the money and investing it into the guy who was broke that really could rap, they wanted to do the rapping. And they couldn't rap a lick. Stupid with money. Not knowing what to do with the money. That's why knowledge is important. There's a lot of dumb people with money. Businesses that stay up to date with industry trends, emerging technology, and market shifts can position themselves more effectively, adapt to changing conditions, and outperform their competitors. Changing market conditions, similar to what happened mid to late last year. The people that were competitive are still here watching right now. The people who were competitive are still here watching right now. You know how many people that used to watch my channel that I don't see no more? You know how many DMs I get or comments I get? Man, Mark, selling my truck. Mark, taking my rental back. Because they wanted to hodl, hold on for dear life instead of transition. I mean, they came and told me, man, I wish I would have listened to you. They did come and, say, you know what, you was right, man, but I didn't listen to you. I waited too late to try to pivot, and, it cost me. All leads back to knowledge. So when I hear people say, analysis paralysis, like somebody said something on Instagram, just do it, just start it. You can worry about making it perfect or building it later. No. You know why? Because the people who listen to me that create a business plan and they do the research, right? They're not going to overthink it. They're going to do it, but they're going to enter with information. They're going to enter with knowledge, right? Those are the people that this competitive advantage, by having this knowledge, these are the people that we're going to pounce on, and we're going to take the food off of their table because they don't know what to do with it. They don't know how to move. They don't know how to shift. They don't know how to shape. So the person who's more knowledgeable is going to eat their food. I saw somebody doing some type of coaching class for $850 this week, some type of box truck Amazon seminar. Why would somebody pay $1,000 to learn about Amazon? Somebody sent me something today talking about, hey, can you promote me? I do people's EINs and LLCs for $100. Why would I promote you? I tell my people, man, go to your Secretary of State website and EINs for free. It takes 5 minutes. Knowledge. People who don't have the knowledge don't know this stuff. They think they need to pay people for this shit. You do this stuff yourself. It takes 5 minutes. Everything leads back to knowledge. Everything leads back to knowledge. And this is why I can put money up and nobody answers the challenge for a debate. Every single person that has failed in the last 2.5 years that came into this space, they didn't have the knowledge. The reason why you're here is because you want the knowledge. And this is why you're still here. What else do I always talk about? Proper preparation preventing poor performance. What else is something else that I always talk about? Problem solving. What do I always say? If you can't solve problems, you'll never be a good business person. One of the main things you're going to do every single day as a business owner is solve problems. That's pretty much the job. The higher you scale, the bigger you get, the more problems you're going to have to solve on a day-to-day basis. Once I got to peak at 15 trucks, my day consisted of solving problems from the early 4:30 in the morning. If it was a cold Chicago day, 0, -10, -20 degrees, I would get a call. Look, the lockbox froze. The gate froze. The electric gate froze. Because we had an electronic gate where you put the code in. So sometimes the code box will freeze. The lockbox where the crews that come in late when the office closed, if we don't stick around to get those trucks in, they just come in, park the truck, and put the key in the lockbox, in the drop box. All right. So then if the temperatures really, really get cold overnight, then sometimes when those crews come in at 4:30 in the morning to go to Office Depot, because they got to be there at 5, that lockbox will freeze and they can't get the key out. So I'm getting them calls at 4:30 in the morning. So before I even start, anything to do with the actual business, we got to unthaw a key box. First problem of the day. And the day ain't even started yet. This truck got into an accident. This truck stuck in the snow. This truck stuck in the snow. This truck get a flat tire. Hey, Mark, they still looking for 10 pieces. I'm still here. I'm still at the warehouse. Man, it's 8:30. You still there? I'm still here. All right, let me call the operations supervisor. Getting calls. Hey, we see one of your trucks. It's weaving in and out of traffic. What's the truck number, sir? Truck number 4. Hey, Monty, call whoever in truck number 4 and tell them to slow their ass down. All day is something. Mike is select. Mark, can you do these 10 stops? Can you have somebody do these 10 stops? How much is paying, Mike? Well, we can give you $600. No, I need $750. Arguing with Mike at select. Back and forth. Negotiating with him. Chris Alvarez calling me, talking about one of my trucks backed into a dock that was short and nicked the awning. Another guy backing into a dock downtown for a move, and they had a low camera hanging off the corner. Boom, took the camera out. They talking about $1,200. And this is coming in all day, right? Can't let them see you sweat. I got to solve these problems. I can't run from them. I can't hide from them. I can't cut my phone off. I can't tell my brother, listen, if somebody call again with another problem, I ain't here. Ain't none of that. I have to address everything, and I have to meet it at the door. You have to be able to solve problems. Business frequently encounter challenges and obstacles. A knowledgeable workforce is better equipped to identify problems and analyze root causes and develop effective solutions. In essence, knowledge facilitates problem solving, leading to smoother operations and improved customer satisfaction. The reason I was able to continue to scale and have an illustrious career is because I'm a good problem solver. Even on YouTube and other businesses, whenever there's a problem, I address it. I meet it head on. And I solve it. Some people I see and I come across in business, they fold. They fold at the first sign of pressure. Not in this line of work, you can't. You have to be able to be a good problem solver. All right? I'm moving through this stuff tonight, guys, because I want to answer a few questions and then I'm going to get out of here. All right, let's talk about another thing that I need you guys to know and I need you guys to work on. We're going to go this way with it. What do I want? Hold on, where I want to put it right here. Let me see. All right, risk management. Risk is inevitable in business. It's inevitable. All right, it's inevitable. Knowledge is a powerful tool for risk assessment and risk management. For instance, say you are one of the people that subscribe to me and you're doing moving like Big Zoe, Asthma Rolling, so on and so forth. In this industry, the customer isn't always right. No, they're not. Customer's not always right in this industry. I don't care who tells, it says opposes it, they're not right. Why? Because they don't do this. They don't do this. And there's a lot of risk involved in moving. There's a lot of risk involved in final mile, big and bulky delivery. There's risk involved in middle mile. Maybe not as much as moving in final mile. There's risk in curbside final mile as well. Maybe not as much as big and bulky and moving, but there's risk associated, in the industry, period. There's risk associated with any business. You're in a restaurant business, there's risk there. Why? You got to make sure you're not serving spoiled food, right? If you got a grocery store, you got to make sure when you mop an aisle, you put a wet floor sign down, so on and so forth, right? So risk management, knowing how to assess risk, that comes with knowledge, right? Boom. You're moving someone, you go into a person's house. Look, sir, this isn't going to fit. I assess the situation. It's too big. It's not going to fit. We moved you out of a 4-bedroom house and now we're moving you into a 2-bedroom, 3rd floor walk up. Clearly in my head, I know something financially has happened because they're downsizing, but they have furniture, that fits, a 4-bedroom, 3,500 square foot house, let's say. And now you're moving into a 3rd floor, 1,200 square foot, 2-bedroom. A lot of this furniture is too big to fit up this narrow hallway. It's not going to fit. So I've assessed the situation. I've assessed the risk, and I'm not going to put myself in jeopardy. I don't give a damn what the customer thinks because the customer don't do this. You want us to try? All right, I need you to sign these waivers that is indemnifying us from any and all liability if the wall, the floor, or the particular item gets damaged because you just insist, you just want to challenge my professional opinion and try it. And I'm telling you what's going to happen. So when it happens, we can't be held liable. How am I able to formulate that risk assessment? It's based off knowledge and it's based off experience. I have the experience to know and eyeball, look, this ain't going to happen. I have the experience to know how to assess the situation, and I'm knowledgeable enough to not put myself in a situation that's going to end up costing me at the end. I don't give a damn what, the saying has been, when you're dealing with a consumer, business consumer relationship. Not in this industry. Customer ain't always right. You know how many, coaching calls I've done with people who are in the moving space, and I always say, the customer is always right, and they tell me, man, I was just trying to be nice. I knew it kind of wasn't going to fit, but the customer just insisted, and I just wanted to help the customer out. And you did it, didn't you? Yeah, you messed something up, didn't you? Right, yep. And then everything the customer said that they wasn't going to do, They did, didn't they? Yep. They said that just go ahead and try it. Don't worry about the wall. If it scratches, they would paint it or nothing. And when you tore that wall up, they said what? You're the professional, right? Yep. They said exactly that. Well, you're the professional. So risk management. By understanding potential risks and their implications, companies can take proactive measures to mitigate or transfer these risks, reducing potential financial and reputational damage. Everything I just said. Everything I just said. And what's going to make you good at risk management is knowledge, education, right? Educating yourself in the space that you're in, right? Educating yourself in the space that you're in, along with experience, right? Along with experience, but making yourself knowledgeable. All right. If you're building a business and you're out in the field 8 to 10 hours a day, once you get home and you eat, you take a shower, you need to open your laptop or you need to be sitting at the computer, especially if you're early in your career in business and, continuously educating yourself in the business that you're in. Just because you're out there, you're making a little money because you watch Mark and Mark then gave you all the information you need to be successful, doesn't mean that you still don't need to be researching on your own. There's so many things that I've covered, but there's so many things that I haven't covered. There's so much stuff that I've covered in this year and a half, but there's still a lot of stuff that I haven't covered. So you just can't go off the stuff that I've covered because you may miss something because I haven't covered it. So that's why you need to still be doing your own research. All right. All right. I want to go. I talked about financial management, I think, in the earlier monologue. So I don't want to beat a dead horse. But you know, it's I'm gonna write it up here, but I'm not gonna dive really into it because I kind of covered it in the in the um in the monologue. But you know, this is a major issue that I continue to see, guys, and you want to be knowledgeable and you want to make yourself financially literate. There's so much stuff that I want to talk about, but I just feel like you guys aren't there, especially when I do these testimonials and people just aren't doing their books. Like, I want to get to the point where I tell you what to do with the money that you're making. Can't even get there because y'all ain't doing your books right. So how can I tell you where to put the money if you're not even doing the books? You don't even know where the money went. I say this all the time. And even to this day, not one person that run Amazon has come to me and said they've invested in Amazon. I bet you I make more money off Amazon than some of y'all guys that run Amazon really. I swear to you, I bet you I make more money off Amazon than y'all do. Why is it that people run for Amazon and they don't invest in the company? Why is that? Why are y'all out here working for these companies and y'all don't own a share of them or a piece of them? Why is that? Why y'all not financially literate when it comes to business? Why y'all not maximizing your earning potential in this box truck space? I don't hear nobody talking about that. I've been talking about that on and off for over a year on this channel. But you know why I really can't expound on it? Because people are not even keeping up with their books. I bet you I make more money than majority of people that run Amazon Relay just by investing in Amazon as a shareholder. So why is it that a person who is going there overnight, running to all these post offices, running to these facilities, It's not taking a small piece of that, whether it's 5%, 10%, and reinvesting, not double dipping and reinvesting it back into the company that you're running for. Why is that? Listen, you're your own business owner. This is what you want to do, right? So you can't go into HR, right? And have HR set up your retirement for you. You wanted to be a business owner. So you got to put your big boy drawers on or your big girl panties on, and all this stuff you have to do yourself. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. You're not properly preparing yourself for the future. You have to set this stuff up for yourself. So I know I'm critical of Amazon, but I'm a shareholder in it. I mean, it's a good business investment. I don't agree with everything they do, but it's a great business investment. So when I crack the jokes and say, yeah, man, I need you guys to make sure that you guys are on time. I need stop throwing these boxes around, stop crushing them. Listen, when you deliver my Amazon packages, you DSP guys, make sure you don't crush my box. Make sure when you deliver it in my mail room, you put my name right side up. I don't like flipping boxes over. I mean that. Why? Because I own shares of the company. And you should too. I shouldn't be cracking jokes on you. We should be cracking them together. But I mean what I say. When you deliver my packages, make sure my name is right side up. Stop tossing them boxes. I hate when y'all come and y'all got them big yellow bags and y'all dragging the bags and the boxes is falling all over. I don't like that shit. You middle mile guys, I need y'all to be on time. All right? I need y'all to stop complaining. All right? Because I need to continue to make money with Amazon. All right? I appreciate y'all, man. Keep doing what y'all doing. But y'all need to be investing. If y'all would invest in Amazon, y'all be seeing great returns. Especially y'all that been running for Amazon 3 years. Y'all missed a split, all types of stuff. Told people to get into RXO or XPO. Sure enough, when XPO introduced RXO, they gave you share for share. It was free money. I told people last year to do it. Nobody did it. I had 1,900 shares. That was 1,900 free dollars. So, you have to be financially literate when it comes to business. Like I said, it's up to you to properly prepare and plan for your future. You are your own HR department. If it's just you, get you a solo 401k, depending on how much money you make. If you're not making over $150,000, get you a Roth IRA. Sit down with a person who is licensed to advise you on that. I'm not advising you on what to do, but I know a lot of y'all need to do it. A lot of y'all are not properly, set up for the future. You're just going to run your box truck, and then what? After you're done running your box truck, okay, then what? What you going to retire on? And see, ain't nobody talking about none of this stuff. I'm the only one who talks about this stuff. I'm not selling you nothing. I'm not telling you to get my master class or this or that or, come meet me at this meet and greet. No, I'm really trying to give people the full blueprint on how to get in this business, make as much out of this business as you can, set yourself up to remove yourself from this business so that you can retire early. Who wants to be running a box truck till they 60 years old? I know I didn't. You think it's going to get easier? If you were getting into the space now, do you think it's going to get easier over the next 10 years or harder? It always gets harder. It's harder now than it was when I got in. The work is the same. The work load is the same. What's harder about it? Finding employment, right? Inflation, right? The rates are still the same, but everything else around it has gone up, which lowers your profit margin. It makes it harder. The cost of entry is higher. It makes it harder because now you got to work harder. You think people are going to be more enthused about coming to work 10 years from now? They're not enthused about coming to work now. So you think in the next 10 years, people are just going to technology is going to keep advancing, replacing jobs, and people that are knowledgeable are going to keep building technology. They're going to keep working from home. The smart people are going to continue to enrich themselves. The middle class is going to be obsolete, right? And it's going to either be rich or poor. Which side of the equation you want to be on? People are going to continue to be lazy, and technology is going to continue to replace jobs. The jobs that humans can do, people ain't going to want to do them. So if you're getting into the space now, that's something that you need to keep in your mind. And that's why I say, man, you need to be really, really working now. You are racing against the clock. What did I used to talk about earlier this year? Early adopters. In every industry, you can look at every industry. And if you look at every industry 10 years ago, 10 years before that, 10 years before that, 10 years before that, it seemed like it was easier. And as the time went on, it got harder and harder and harder. The people who were into, let's say, Final Mile, which Final Mile, when I got into it, it was still very young, right? Because I was at the beginning phases where a lot of major big box retailers were phasing out their own delivery platforms and going with third parties, right? All right, you're talking about 13, 14 years later, is what we have today. But, for people who are old enough to remember, Montgomery Ward, so on and so forth, all these big box retailers, let's say for appliances and furniture, they had their own trucks. Excuse me. In the late 90s through the 2000s, they started to, stop delivering with their own fleet, taking that out of the equation and just outsourcing to a third party. So when I started it was within the first 10 years of that old model being removed and going with a new model outsourcing. So technically, I was an early adopter. It was a lot easier then. Work was hard. But when I showed my books the other day, you see how much money I was making on a day-to-day basis? Why? Because the cost of living was a lot lower. Payroll was a lot lower. Fuel was a lot lower. Trucks were a lot cheaper. The rates were here. Why were the rates so high then? Why are the rates so high then? Because they were really high then. They're the same thing now. We're getting $600 a route then. There's people getting $600 a route now. Why were the rates higher? To get people on board, because this was new. The 3PLs really didn't understand the industry, the business yet, because they were used to dealing with small parcels, and big and bulky was new for 3PLs, right? Because a lot of the big box retailers were doing it on their own. So they were willing to pay a premium to get the work done because they didn't fully understand the margins yet, because they were still learning. And those rates are still $600, $700 today. So the reason I was able to make an egregious amount of money is I was an early adopter. Real estate, same thing. Even influencers. Let's look at influencers online. Look, when Ty Lopez, he was one of the first initial influencers online. He's gone now. You're talking about 60, 70 million he's worth. Now, everybody that wants to duplicate his model, right? Look at all the competition that they're up against now, right? Because Ty Lopez was an early adopter. He started that showing the books and the cars and the girls. He was one of the first people to do that. Now everybody else is trying to do that same thing in different industries. Real estate, you got to have a girl. You got to have a car. Box truck, you got to have a car. Forget the box truck. No, put a Benz, put a Lamborghini, put a Bentley, put a Rolls Royce. Forget the box truck. I'm going to pull up in a Rolls Royce and show you and tell you I can help you make $1 million in a box truck. But I'm pulling up in a Rolls Royce. Why? Because you're going to see the Rolls Royce, and that's going to entice a person who's not knowledgeable to buy into it. So when I say, you're entering into this business now, it's a race against the clock. I mean that. If you look at the industry 10 years from now, when I can see it better than you can because I lived through it. You think the industry is going to be the same way it is now 10 years from now? Of course not. Technology is advancing really, really fast. As time goes on, technology advances faster. So right now, it's no time for games. You get in, you get to work, give yourself, listen, if you give yourself 10 strong years, 10 strong years, and I know a lot of people think 10 years is a long time, but I swear to God, once you put your head down and you get to work, it's going to go by really, really fast. 2010s, it seems like some aspects of 2010 seem like yesterday to me. Some parts of it don't. But it's a memory. It blew by really, really fast because I was indulged in the work. If you give yourself 10 strong, hard years, you put your head down, you exercise some discipline, you sacrifice, you appropriate your funds correctly, you set your business up, you structure it the correct way, you stop robbing from the sustainability of the business, you start to see that business become profitable, then I'll show you how to take that profit from your business and invest into other businesses to bring more money in. So then you can remove yourself from the day-to-day if you want to sell off that business because you created other businesses that don't require your time. I can show you how to do that. But you got to give it at least 10 years. And you got to work really, really hard for at least 10 years. 10 years. That's all you need. 10 years. I swear to God. $10 years. So, making better financial decisions for your business, setting yourself up for the future, that's something I do want to start talking about because a lot of people are not doing it. All right. Look, knowledge is the lifeblood of a successful business, man. It empowers you, it empowers individuals, it empowers organizations to make informed decisions, innovation, problem solving, risk management, understanding customers, adapting to changes in the industry. Increase your knowledge, man. And when I say this, I'm saying it because I think a lot of people are taking, how do I want to say this? I think a lot of people I want to be really, really politically correct when I say this, because I want you guys to really understand this. You know what? I'm just gonna make it simple. Listen, knowledge is power. In order for you to succeed in business, you have to continue to educate yourself. Always. Always. You know, always. If you want to get to the top, you need to be smarter than the competition. All right. Knowledge is going to be your sharpest tool. As long as you got it up here, you can fight any battle. Any battle. Any battle. Every single day, I'm empowering my brain. I'm empowering my brain. Every day. Every single day, I try to read at least 30 minutes. Something. This is how I was able to be smart enough and be knowledgeable enough that when I saw the right time to start divesting, I was knowledgeable enough to see that. What if I wasn't knowledgeable enough to read the market when I did? I would be really in a bad situation right now. I would be in a bad situation with a bunch of paid off assets. I would still be in a bad situation. Why? Because I would have looked at myself like, look, I had a chance to divest at an appreciated value, but I was holding on for dear life, hoping things were going to change. And now look, we're in a bad space. Nobody got money, and I could have made an egregious amount of money, but I made a bad business decision, right? Because I was hoping instead of following my first mind like my OG always taught me to do. And now I'm sitting here with a bunch of assets that I can't do shit with. Because one, don't nobody want to work. So I would have probably a third of trucks running. The other ones would still be sitting. And I would be frustrated every day. Every single day, I thank God that I was smart enough to make the decision I made when I made it. You know, so knowledge, man. Knowledge, man. Yep. So did you start investing in other opportunities outside logistics during your tenure in business or after? During. So you don't have to invest in other businesses with personally. You can use your business to invest in other businesses. So if I'm running for RXO, I'm running for JB Hunt Final Mile, I'm running for Amazon, that business can acquire those assets. Your business can have its own portfolio. It's actually better that way. You know what I'm saying? It's actually better that way. So, no, I have my own personal portfolio, and then your business has its own portfolio. So, if you want to purchase, let's say Amazon personally, you can do that. But, if your business is running for Amazon, you probably want to have your business to own some shares of that as well. You know what I'm saying? And just let those shares, you want to play the long game with that. With your business, you don't want to play the short game. So you want to invest in companies that are going to have long-term success. So Amazon is not going anywhere. They're not going anywhere. Amazon is a company that's too big to fail. He, built a company that, I don't agree with everything, he does, but you can't take away, his ingenious. He built a company that has hands in everything. They pretty much own the world. Jeff Bezos, to be honest, it can be debated that he's probably the most powerful person in the world. He has his hands in everything. Listen, malls don't exist anymore, or do they? Jeff Bezos owns the largest mall. It just went from a brick and mortar to online. Amazon is nothing but a super mall. Every single major brand has their own Amazon store. Nike has a store on Amazon. Crate and Barrel, any company you name has their own Amazon store. So literally you can go on Amazon and you can shop directly with the retailers that if you just like going to Nike.com, you can go to Nike on Amazon. Nike has their own Amazon store. It's nothing but an online mall. He bought health companies. Why? Because he knew what he was going to do. So now we're going to buy the company so that we can offer health insurance at a discount. He built AWS. Who does AWS contract to? The government, primarily the CIA. That's the biggest cloud server. So anything from software to retail to healthcare, technology. You got an Alexa in your crib. What do you think they're doing when you got that Alexa plugged in? It's listening, collecting data. So they're the biggest data company. Why wouldn't you want to own a piece of that? Why wouldn't you want a piece of that? So shame on you. If you run an Amazon Relay and you don't even have one share of a funky $120-something stock, shame on you. It ain't $3,000 no more. It's split. So if you're running Amazon Relay and every time you get a settlement, you're not investing at least buying one share, shame on you. Shame on you. Shame on you. Do the business get that money or do you? What money are you talking about? When you use your business to invest in other companies, that goes to the business. That's part of the business portfolio. Facts. I did a roadie pickup from Walmart, and when I dropped it off to the customer, he said, order from Amazon. Exactly. Amazon is huge, man. I was talking to my insurance broker the other day, and, he was talking about, the rates, the insurance rates. And I'm like, man, why are the rates, what's your, your professional, thought, on why insurance rates have gone up? He said, to be honest with you, it's Amazon. I said, what does Amazon have to do, with the insurance rates for the whole trucking industry? Not everybody runs Amazon. He said they have so much market share. He said Amazon drivers are so bad. And I'm not, if the shoe don't fit, don't wear it. I'm just telling you what's going on. He said there's so many situations with Amazon drivers and they have so much market share that it's driving the rates up on the industry. Because of their market share and because of the volume that they have, right? And because of the amount of accidents and claims that are involved with Amazon and due to the market share, it's driving up the insurance rates across the industry. So he was like, he's like, I know, but I don't understand why Amazon doesn't write for itself. And for you guys that don't know what that means is Amazon is really, really huge, and big companies are self-insured. So when you look at companies like U-Haul or Ryder Enterprise or JB Hunt, Schneider, these companies are self-insured. So they'll have another entity where they'll create their own insurance company. It'll be a faction of them. I forget the name. U-Haul has their own insurance company. I think it's called West something. Schneider has their own, Ryder has their own, JB Hunt. They're self-insured, right? He was like, I don't know why. He said, I know why, but I don't understand why they just don't write for themselves. They don't want to be self-insured. Why? Because they see the data. They see how many of their semi-trucks and their relay people and their DSPs get into accidents on a daily basis. Do you know why they get into all these accidents? Because of the extreme pressure and metrics that they put them under. So why would they want to self-insure? They've already indemnified themselves from any and all liability all across the board. So why insured? Why be self-insured? They're putting everything on the contractor. So because Amazon has so much market share and there's so many situations of claims, this is driving the insurance rates up across the whole industry. So, so that's the answer. If anybody wanted to know why insurance rates are going up or have gone up and continue to go up, there's your answer. And, he's been my broker for a long time. He's been a broker for over 30 years. So he's not like some new guy. So they have the data. And my broker ain't with no rinky dink. He's with farmers. They have the data. So it's Amazon. Do I think Jeff Bezos is guilty of corner market? Amazon is definitely a monopoly. That's why, if you really research, like I've done really extensive research on Amazon and Jeff Bezos, that's why, in their training sessions and in their meetings, they train their staff and their managers not to use the term market share. They can't say market share. You can't use the word market share at Amazon. Can't use it. They know they're a monopoly. They're not going to admit to it, but they're too big to fail. Listen, they contract with the federal government, the CIA. They're in bed with the government. As far as Amazon Web Services is concerned, they have the biggest cloud. Everybody that's somebody that stores data in the cloud, 9 times, the big boys, they all use AWS. The CIA uses it. Does he know he's a monopoly? Yes. Is he going to admit to it? No. Are they going to break Amazon up? No. 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 Yeah, I know who Dave Ramsey is. I'm not a big follower of Dave Ramsey. I just never really got into him. So I really don't have a comment on Dave Ramsey. Yeah, he's definitely connected with him. Listen, in order for the CIA to award Amazon Web Services that contract, listen, if Amazon Web Service is storing CIA information in the cloud, I mean, what else is there to say? They have to give him some level of trust, right? Because they don't have their own cloud to put the information in. So I'm pretty sure he's done sworn to some type of secrecy, and he's going to be a well-protected man. So you said you were about to say you think too many people are doing what felt like that was going somewhere real. Yeah, it was, but sometimes I hold certain things back because people may not be ready for it. You know what I'm saying? Some things people just not ready for. So I try to think about things. Well, I do think about things before I say them. So what I was about to say, I don't think is the right time to say it. That's why I kind of stopped. Let me see. I'm 22 with a clear vision of what I want out of life. Thank you, Mark, for the guys. Appreciate you. So that's your 10-year plan. Yeah, I think 10 strong years you should be good. Let me see. Ty Lopez is a beast. I don't agree with everything he did early on, but he was an early adopter. He saw where the internet was going. As far as the influencer space, he started early. He got in. He made his money when there was very minimal people doing it, and now everybody wants to be an influencer. So now people who don't have the Lambo, they'll go spend a lot of money to rent an Airbnb so they can shoot 3 months worth of content in 24 hours because they barely scraped up enough money to rent the Lamborghini for the day. So now they got to switch outfits and just shoot as much content as humanly possible because they have to stretch this content out over, a matter of time. And, people are so naive, they're going to buy into it because they're going to believe whatever it is this person is saying because they're standing next to a Lamborghini. So, Ty Lopez was just an early adopter. He saw where it was going. He got in early. He made his money. Now he makes hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars mentoring new influencers. People are paying Ty Lopez millions of dollars to learn from him so that they can duplicate him so that they in hopes could become what he is. So that's why being an early adopter is very important. Appreciate you, Dun Beezy. The corporations don't want to pay fair value. So many people excuses are saying that the corporations don't want to pay fair value. Let me explain something to you. Corporations ain't gonna never pay fair value. That's why it's called capitalism. We want to get as much work done for very little. It's capitalism. Let me explain something to you. Why do you think the borders are open? Why do you think the borders are open? Why? Because Generation Z and the generation that's going to come after Generation Z, they want more money. All right. You know what? People have gotten smarter. The cost of living has gone up. Gavin Newsom just passed a law in California. I watched the world news. Gavin Newsom just passed a law in California that they finna start paying fast food workers $20 an hour. So what does that mean for Burger King and McDonald's? Bye-bye, the dollar menu already gone, I think. So that means two things are going to happen, right? Food is going to go up and McDonald's is going to further their innovation. What do you mean they're going to further their innovation? They've already gotten rid of the counters. You don't see long counter with 5 registers no more. You walk into McDonald's, you see 4 to 6 kiosks, you see 1 register, and you see a pickup window and a screen with your number. So now what? Now we got to pay $20 an hour in California. So all right, we're going to add more kiosks, and now we're going to add robotics in the back to flip and toss the burgers and dump the fries, this and that. We're going to have 1 to 2 people running the whole store. And what they'll probably do is start tearing some of these McDonald's down, like you see them do every 10 years, and rebuilding them. They're probably going to get rid of the dining room altogether. So there probably won't be no dining room. There'll probably be a long peninsula with some stools so you can eat. There'll be a bunch more kiosks, a pickup window, more screens, robotics in the back. It'll probably be 1 to 2 people running that whole operation. So when I say you got 10 years, I really mean you got 10 years. Joe Biden wants to get rid of gas combustible engines. You've already passed that law under the PRO Act, the infrastructure bill. By 2035, everything has to be manufactured, has to be an electric vehicle. And you already see the manufacturers already putting electric vehicles. They already had the technology. They're like, skip it. We're not going to wait for 2035. We're just going to start implementing electric vehicles into our lineup now. BMW has a nice electric vehicle lineup. You got Rivian out here. You got Tesla out here. You got Lion out here. I think what's that, Scion or whatever. They got a little electric car. Chevy has the Bolt and the Volt. Ford has the Mustang. Hyundai has the, what is it, the K5 or the K6, whatever it is, and the Sona or the Kona, whatever it is. And they're going to continue to introduce more and more electric vehicles. And guess what? With the electric vehicles, that just robotics is just going to build those. You got the UAW with Sean Fang, being a terrorist with the UAW. They still out of work. They done closed down the Kentucky plant, which builds all the F-Series. That's a $25 billion a year plant. The F-150 has been the number one vehicle for J.D. Power and Social for like the last 42 years. The plant that makes the F-Series is in Kentucky. That was a big hit. That one plant, $25 billion in sales a year. So what do you think if this continues to go on with Sean Fang? What do you think Ford is going to do? They're going to innovate. You know what? We're going to have to get more robots. You're an amazing teacher, Mara. I can't thank you enough. Appreciate you, done busy. So what you just said about McDonald's, do you think the delivery business is going to ramp up for fast food deliveries? Of course. Of course it is. Let me explain something to you. California is just first. Fast food restaurants already been paying $20 here. They've been paying $20 since the pandemic. You know how many McDonald's have closed here since the pandemic because they couldn't get enough people to work? You know how many restaurants still to this day have a sign on the door, dining room closed due to short work staff, only drive-through open, and it'll be one guy doing everything. So in a combination of people don't want to work, it's certain jobs people just definitely don't want to work. And fast food is one of them. So in order for these fast food companies to stay in business, they're going to have to further innovate. I'm telling you, in another 5 to 10 years, McDonald's is probably just going to be a carry-out business. You may see a small peninsula, but if you pay attention, all the McDonald's that they've been redesigning for the past 5 years, the dining room area is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. They didn't completely got rid of the playland. The little playland at some McDonald's where kids crawl up and slide down, that's gone. They're just going to add more kiosks. They'll probably have a peninsula, like a bar-style peninsula with some stools. They're going to add more kiosks. They're going to appropriate that real estate, that floor space for more kiosks. And they'll probably move that kitchen area further out because they're going to need more room for the robots, right? So they're going to kill some of that dining room space so they can make more room for those robots. They'll probably have 2 people running the whole thing. So now we're spending $40 an hour and we're still making the same amount of money. It'll be pickup and delivery only. So now you don't want to work, now you can't work. Yeah, we'll pay $40 an hour, but we only going to need 2 people to run the whole operation. We just need one person to keep going to the refrigerator, to keep dumping these patties so that robot can stick that spatula in and flip that thing over and that little timer can run because, McDonald's is seamless. And then after that 1 minute, that robot spatula going to flip that thing over. It's going to lift that thing up. There's a bun going to drop. It's going to put it on the bun. You're going to see a little robot come squirt of ketchup. A little robot going to come squirt of mustard. You're going to have drop a pickle on that thing. Another robot arm going to put the bun on. It's going to shoot it through a thing that's going to wrap it up. It's going to slide down the thing. And that one person that's working there, that's the preparer, he's going to put it in the bag and prepare it for the Uber Eats or the DoorDash or the Grubhub guy or the person that's waiting in the dining room and handle number 89, your order is ready, and sit right there on the screen. You're going to see 89, your order is ready. And then the other person that's working there, he's just going to steady be dumping the fries into the robot or the burgers and making sure the system is filled with ketchup and mustard and whatever else, and may occasionally mop or something, or go out to the parking lot and sweep up. That's it. I mean, what else does it really need? They got the money. The only thing what else they probably going to do is probably start closing down more locations. So instead of seeing a McDonald's on every corner, you may have to drive a little bit more of a distance now. So they'll start closing down underperforming McDonald's, right? They'll start closing down underperforming McDonald's, and people are already just, accustomed to McDonald's anyway. They've gotten people accustomed to it. A person will drive an extra mile. Whoop-de-doo. And guess what? The stores that they'll close down, the underperforming stores, they're not going to be corporate stores. Those are going to be McDonald's owner-operator McDonald's. They're not going to cut their bread off. They're going to cut down the underperforming franchises. Now ask me how I know. Is McDonald's starting employees off at 20? I just answered that question. In California, yes. Here they're paying $20 an hour. Kelvin Burst in Texas, they're paying $12.25. Maybe not for long. How many people are going to continue to go work for $12.25? The only people that are going to work for that type of money is migrants. And that's goes back to what I said, the migrants. That's why the borders are open. That's why the borders are open. The borders are open to let these migrants in, because this has to become the new workforce, because the younger generation is not going to do this type of work. They're not going to do it. They're not. The migrants will do whatever, you know what I'm saying? Because whatever you give them, if it's $12.25 an hour, like you're saying, Kelvin, that's more than what they were making where they were at, Venezuela, or wherever they came from. Trust me, I see them every single day. We're flooded with them. We get 20 buses of migrants every day. Y'all governors just busting them up here every day. We getting 22 buses a day. It's getting bad. Why? Because this winter is coming. We ain't got nowhere to put them. So now Chicago is at war with the migrants. It's videos on Instagram. Chicagoans fighting with the migrants. It's getting cold. The city ain't got nowhere to put them. They living on the street in front of the police stations. Some Chicagoans haven't donated some tents, but guess what? A tent can't survive a Chicago winter. So it's about to get ugly. You know what I'm saying? So our crime is about to go up. It's about to be a bunch of stuff. But these borders are open. These migrants are going to sanctuary cities like here, Philadelphia, Denver is getting them now. New York is overcrowded with them. But this is going to be the new workforce, because they're going to take the $12.25 an hour. Why? Because they're not privileged like an American. They'll take the $12.25 an hour. They'll go rent a $900 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom apartment in the middle of the ghetto somewhere, and it'll be 4 families living there, and they're going to all go to work and work really, really hard for a few years. They're going to all put their money together and pay their rent. It's going to be 4 families living in that 2-bedroom, right? They're going to save up their money. One of them is going to start a landscaping business. One of them is going to start go buy a box truck, start a moving business. And then they're going to get their citizenship, and then they're going to be a part of the American dream. And then this is going to be the workforce, because Generation Z doesn't want to do the work. I can't really say I don't blame them. Cost of living is very high. I don't think the cost of living is going to retrace. I don't think it's going to go back to the way it was. I don't think we'll ever see 2 or 3% interest rates in the real estate market anymore. I think those days are long gone. We may be seeing what is called the new norm. So when I say, you got 10 years, I really mean 10 years. Because you're going to get outbid. You're going to get outbid. You're going to get outworked. You're going to get out hustled. If you're coming into the moving space, it's going to be an infusion of a bunch of rogue movers. when you're on these apps like Thumbtack and these, especially like these lead generating apps, you're gonna get outbid. It's coming. It's more industries building down here in Houston now more than anything, especially people from California and New York moving here. Why do you think they moving there? It's from California and New York. Because y'all don't have no state tax. You know how expensive it is to live in California, New York, and Chicago? So the people who have gotten displaced in, let's say, LA and New York, they're being forced out because they can no longer afford to live there. So they're going to places like Texas that have no state tax. I heard one of the reasons the borders are open to ramp up our military because numbers are down. They are fast tracking them to have work permits. Yeah. So I could touch on this real quick. You know, people are always talking about the trucking market and oh, everything is bad, everything is bad, everything is bad. What do I always say when things are bad? Whenever an economy is down, whenever an industry is down, somebody's making money. Somebody's making money. I made an egregious amount of money during the housing market crash. I started a moving company. People were losing their houses. It's unfortunate, but I was able to enrich myself off other people's misfortune. You know what I'm saying? Whenever there is an economic downturn, there's opportunity. There's opportunity in anything. People are looking at this whole trucking thing the wrong way. Whenever there's an economic downturn, that spells opportunity. Do you know where the opportunity is? That's what you should be trying to figure out. Even with this situation here in Chicago, with the migrant crisis, I don't agree with the mayor. I don't agree how he's handling it. None of that, right? But there's an opportunity there, right? Right, because a company has been awarded hundreds of millions of dollars to build tents for all these migrants. Who do you think's in the bidding for those tents? What company do you think is in the bidding? One company. It's one specific company that's in the bidding for those tents. We getting 20 buses of migrants a day. That's a bunch of tents. I need a piece of that. I never told y'all this, but during the pandemic, I got hired by one of those companies to build tents. My company hired my company to build tents. I still got a bunch of leftover tents now, tents and tables. So when the pandemic hit and all those companies, those medical companies were setting up those pop-up shop COVID testing centers and those pop-up pull-up tent centers, it was a company that had the national contract. And I'm going to tell this story and I'll probably get out of here. And they had the national contract to set up COVID testing sites, right? But instead of renting out spaces like a lot of those national companies did, what they did was they set up tents in the parking lot of churches, right? So they went the cheaper route, right? So boom. And you'll never believe how I got a hold of this account. Thumbtack. All right. So what happened was they had a hard time sourcing people here. They had went to like 2 or 3 people before they got to me. One reason was the way the company sourced the equipment was they didn't order it from the manufacturer. They would place a big order with Home Depot, right? So they'd order a big order of tents, tables, the heaters, the little portable heaters with the what's the green thing that you screw in, to give the heater power. What is it? The propane, the little small propane thing, a bunch. So a lot of these guys that they were finding on Thumbtack, they just weren't reputable. They weren't licensed, so on and so forth. They couldn't handle all the because we were setting up tents across the whole city and suburbs. It got to me. This guy hits me. I never forget. It was a Sunday night, and I get a Thumbtack request. I automatically respond, and he hits me right back. He said, "Man, I know it's late, but can you hop on a call?" I said, "Okay, sure." I hopped on the call. He introduced himself. He said he's the national director of a company, blah, blah, blah. He said, we have an egregious amount of millions of dollar contract with the government to do COVID testing, right? So he told me how it works. We do tents at churches. We hire nurses to, provide the COVID testing, but we need a vendor to pick up all the equipment and set everything up. So I said, okay, yeah, we can do that. We talk numbers, I told him what it would cost him. He said, man, that's too high. I said, well, listen, it's December, it's cold, and that's a lot of work. You want me to send trucks to pick this stuff up and set these tents up? It's going to take 2 guys. This is work. So clearly, you said you went through a couple of people. They don't have the infrastructure to be able to handle the job. So I have the infrastructure. So you're going to have to pay for it. These companies were getting millions and millions of dollars, and I knew that. So I needed my piece. So he had to give in, and he was like, well, can you start tomorrow? Because I had a guy or a company, whoever he hired, they just basically walked off. We ordered all this stuff, and it's just sitting at this Home Depot, and these tents were a bunch of these tents were supposed to be set up this weekend. And I said, well, tomorrow's too short notice. It's 9:00 at night. Can't do nothing tomorrow. I'm not even going to start putting things into motion until tomorrow. I said the earliest we probably could start would be Tuesday. He agreed to the price. We went and we got to work it. So every day we'd have to go pick up a bunch of stuff from Home Depot, and we were setting up tents. It was a lot of money. And it was a government contract. I didn't have the government contract. Obviously, they had the government contract. We were just contracted through them to do the work. So I'm saying that to say this. During that crisis of a pandemic, there was opportunity. Just being in the right place at the right time for that situation. But learning from that situation and keeping my ear to the street, I know now that I think it's 150 million or some ungodly number this company, Garter World, just were awarded, which they don't do this, the tent. They don't set up the tents. Garter World is just, they have the national account, right, for this migrant crisis as far as, doing the tent setup, but they contract out. So they got awarded like 129 million for Chicago. I need that. I need a piece of that. So that's what I'm working on right now. So even with that crisis, it's opportunity. It's opportunity. So with this trucking situation, there's opportunity in this too. It's opportunity. I got to get it. And guess who I'm going to go hire? Because I know I'm going to get it. It wasn't nothing but a call to the OG. Hey, you good with the alderman? I need it for here. We employed all these people in the zip code that I lived in, that I grew up in. All right. The alderman. We need it for this area. So all the migrants over here, boom, we need that. So I work my number. My mom is good with the politics as far as the pastors and the aldermen in that ward. I need that for that ward. I need that. Opportunity. So you always got to look whenever there's an economic downturn or something's going bad, there's opportunity there. You just got to find what the opportunity is. Folk that own rental property in Chicago are about to make money once the migrants get their money up. Yeah, but right now they're trying to offer landlords money to house migrants in vacant apartments that haven't rented, and most landlords don't want them. The reason why is they're living at the police stations now, and so far one police station has had a measles outbreak and another police station has had a lice outbreak. So landlords don't want them. You know what I'm saying? So right now they're living on the street, and it's getting colder and colder by the day. So they said the only option they have is to build tents. Garter World got this contract. They're contracting out to contractors to actually do the work building the tents, and they're paying like $300 and some an hour. So, I'm going to get the migrants that do have the work permits to build the tents. So whenever there's crisis, there's opportunity. So you just got to find the opportunity. I've been telling y'all what the opportunity is in logistics for the past 2 months. It's just people just not listening. I've been telling people where the opportunity is at. I've been telling people what to do. Just people ain't listening. People are stuck. Listen, when I lost Office Depot, right? Because I went through a situation with Chris Alvarez, and I had another situation, that whole non-compete situation. That was 9 vehicles, right? It was 9 vehicles a day at a rate of $300 a day guaranteed per vehicle. And we were operating on a 33% profit margin for that contract. So for each vehicle, I was bringing back $100. A third was going to the driver, a third was going to cost. Right? So we were making $900 a day off that contract. Right? That's $4,500 a week off that one contract. So when I lost that contract, that was a big dent, right? I had to repurpose those 9 vehicles. Shit happens. But that goes back to what I talk about, proper preparation prevents poor performance, when I talked about problem solving. I had to solve that problem, and I had to solve it quick, right? Because I have an infrastructure that $4,500, after so long, I need that money coming back in. I can't go too long without, sending those vehicles out. That's 9 drivers. They had a guaranteed route Monday through Friday. So I had to think quick on my feet. I got this whole warehouse here that I'm not even using. And that's how I ultimately started cross-docking, because I lost that huge contract. So I had to think quick. So I started cross-docking. So, you got to be quick on your toes, man. You got to be quick on your toes. I want everybody to win, but, in order to win in business, you got to be smart. You got to be smarter than all the competition. Even on YouTube, people going to come for you because everybody's got something to sell. And I've realized now that I'm a detriment to other people, right? Because me giving out so much free information and people finding my channel and seeing how much more knowledgeable I am in comparison to other people, it's a detriment to people who may be selling something who are less knowledgeable than me, right? And that's my competitive advantage, knowledge. And you have to be knowledgeable out here. As long as you're smart, you're going to always win. You're going to always know how to maneuver, So you got to be smart. You have to be smart in business. All right, so it's all good. I know I'm a little fatigued today because I've been on the phone all day. I've been really trying to, lock that whole tent thing down, you know what I'm saying? So, mentally I'm just, and I've been like that all week. We didn't do the testimonials yesterday. Kirk wasn't, he had came off the road late, so I didn't want to do it late. I was mentally drained. I'm mentally drained today, because I'm really trying to lock this thing down. And I know maybe I was probably a little fatigued during that presentation. So I I apologize for that if I seemed a little mentally fatigued, but I just been on the phone all day, and I had three Microsoft team meetings yesterday. One was with Ryder. Ryder Truck Rental reached out to you. And that's another thing I never told y'all, but I can tell y'all now. Mark, how do content creation is a business. It has become sort of kind of like a business for me, but you provide so much free information. How do you pay yourself? You don't, you give so much free information. Because I'm knowledgeable, you got to understand all these corporate companies, the insurance company, the rental truck companies, the processing companies, Amazon, all these companies watch content. They watch content, right? In this space, if you notice, they really don't invest into advertising and sponsoring like that. But the reason why I've been able to be successful is because when they watch the content, they see who's knowledgeable, right? So they consult me. So I've consulted, they hire me to consult them, right? Because I'm the liaison between them and you, right? They want to know what moves you guys. And from being a person who has the experience from starting a company, being out there from the bottom, starting a company and scaling it to ultimately be an influencer and a consultant, right, in the space because of my experience, they're not going to go to the actual contractor. They're going to find someone who's knowledgeable, a liaison, and they're going to consult with me. So they'll hire me to consult with them. They want to know everything about you guys. How can we make the experience better? And this is not the rental truck division. This is the final mile division. How can we make the experience better for the contractor? My whole consultation meeting yesterday with Ryder was all about making the experience better for you guys, the contractors who go out and do the actual work. From the experience once the contractor gets to the terminal in the morning for load out, to getting to the consumer's home, down to the technology used for onboarding, route optimization, all of it. This is what they hired me for. I did another Microsoft Teams meeting yesterday with a payment processing company. Same thing. You know what the first thing they said? Well, man, we've watched hours and hours and hours and hours of content. We have people in other spaces, but now we're tackling the trucking industry. We're breaking it down. So we're focusing on the box truck, and we watched pretty much everybody. And you know what they said? Out of everybody, you're the most knowledgeable. We have people that are in trucking that, watch, and they say, you know what? This is the person who we see. We've watched all the content. This is the person that's most knowledgeable. Now, this company didn't pay me cash. This company paid with an Amazon gift card and a vanilla gift card. Listen, paying is paying. I can still use that stuff. But the reason why I consider myself like the Robin Hood is because I rob the rich and I give to the poor. These companies have billions of dollars. So they can pay me to present content for free to you guys. So I don't need a sponsor because these large companies consult with me to help make your guys' jobs easier and better, if that makes sense to you. I think I actually showed the email by mistake from Ryder requesting to do the consultation with me Monday. I showed that Monday on that live stream. I didn't mean to show it. I didn't know the screen was on share screen, but yeah, it was up there. So, and I do this all the time. I just never talk about it. I never talk about it. So yeah, I've met with pretty much every company imaginable, from the big companies to startup companies. They meet Mark, and Mark is the liaison between them and you. Some companies want to make the experience better for you, so they want my insight so that they can take it back to their superiors and they can fix things there. Or do you have some companies that just want insight, information, and how their product can work, in box trucking, and then they pay me for my knowledge. And that goes back to the whole topic about knowledge. Knowledge, knowledge, how knowledge is power. I don't have to charge you guys for mentorship. I'll never do a mentorship ever. Ever. Never. I don't have to. I don't need the money. And I don't want y'all bothering me. I'm going to make my money off the big companies because it's a bigger bag over there. And I can give you guys all the information for free. So the more information I pour into you guys and your success, the big companies see how knowledgeable I am, and then they pay me an egregious amount of money, and I just continue to pour my information into you guys. So I know how to really go out and get it. And they know who's knowledgeable and who isn't. So, all right, any more questions? I'm going to answer a few more questions. And I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. What did I think about the rider? I think it was a good meeting I had with him yesterday. I think, they want to make the purpose of that whole meeting was to understand the experience from the contractor's point of view, right? Because the corporate bigwigs, they've never delivered a couch or a refrigerator. So, they wanted to understand the experience, and they asked me how they could make it better. And I told them, a lot of the disdainment from Final Mile. I've never ran with Ryder, but their setup is the same as any other third party logistics company. I said it all starts in the morning, that loadout. You get you get told a door to go to, you get to the door, and your stuff is all there and it's not in order. You gotta optimize your route and load it last stop in first stop in last. I feel like those people who pull, they should have it already set up and lined up like that. And even for the small parcel stuff, like you could have 5 or 6 pallets, let's say for like an Office Depot or a Staples, and none of it is organized. You could have, your first stop could have 5 pieces, and it could be 5 pallets that you got to load onto your truck. And that first person, let's say, has 5 pieces, and those 5 pieces won't all be together on the same pallet. It might be 1 piece on each pallet. So now you got to organize stuff and load stuff according to your stop, all while optimizing the stuff in your head, which is taking time away, because all this time that's being wasted at the logistics company in the morning doing all that stuff, that time can be cut short if the person who's pulling the stuff and setting it at the dock already has it optimized and lined up, so that when you pull into that dock, your first stop is already, your last stop should be the first stop there that you pull in, take to the back, and it should be in sequential order. Last stop in first stop in last. That would cut so much time. And that's something they were like, well, yeah, we never thought of that. All the way down to the technology from, the phone, not optimizing the stops on the phone, all the way down to what I talked about earlier, the customer not being right. Claims is a big issue. Another thing, all these companies, these third-party logistics companies consult with me a bit. They want to know how they can reduce claims. Claims are at an all-time high. And you know what I tell them? I say, they were like, well, what's your take? Why are claims? I say, one generation, the younger generation just doesn't care. Why don't they care? And I tell them the same thing that I tell you guys. You believe that these corporate tycoons don't even know some of this stuff. I talk about the gig apps and the opportunities, right? Things of that nature, and I say, they will say, well, how can we combat that? And I tell them all the same thing. More training. You can't just send somebody out with another contractor for a week and that and expect that to suffice. It's not long enough. It's not good enough. Moving is very, it's a science to it, and I think people need to be trained better. So where do you get your market info? Internet searches, publications. A lot of the info that I get when I talk about the way things are going in the market, no, it's just me just knowing the market. I'm a business major and I've been doing this for a long time. So, I kind of understand supply and demand. I may look at a chart here and there, but I study consumer behavior. If you study consumer behavior, you could pretty much figure it out. You know what I'm saying? If you understand consumer behavior, then you could pretty much figure it out. So if you're delivering for Amazon, right, you're dealing with consumer products, right? If you understand the sentiment of the consumer and the consumer behavior, you can kind of pretty much forecast how your peak season is going to go, how your back to school is going to go, or why volume is down, so on and so forth. So it's a science to it, but you learn it from experience. Obviously I've learned it from education and experience, but even if you don't have the education, over a period of time of being in the industry, you'll just see certain patterns. And then when you see these patterns repeat themselves again, you'll kind of think back to when you saw this the last time, and then you'll be able to kind of like forecast, what lies ahead or what the particular situation may be going on at that particular time, or why volume is high or why volume is low, so on and so forth. Mark, what's the process to become a consultant? I think experience, man. Knowledge. I wouldn't suggest being a consultant in anything unless you have an extensive amount of knowledge on whatever it is you want to consult on. If you don't have an extensive amount of knowledge, then I don't think you should do it, because someone is investing into you for your knowledge, and you don't want to mislead people. You know what I'm saying? Because they're entrusting you um, to provide them with information to ultimately help to ensure their success. So just experience is always going to be your best teacher. Listen, there's no way on God's green earth would I be able to sit up here and do what I'm doing now as far as coaching in year 2 or year 3 or year 4 or year 5, right? Because I was still learning in year 2, I was still learning in year 3. I hadn't even lost, year 2, year 3. I'm thinking the way things were going in, it was just going to go like that forever. I thought I was going to have Office Depot forever. I thought I was going to have IKEA forever. The company lost IKEA. I had to go sign up with the new company. We lost Office Depot. I had to go do this. I had to go do that. I started cross-docking. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of things happen. And I would say, to be honest, I think I would say it took me maybe about a good 9 or 10 years to really confidently say, you know what, if I'm an expert in my lanes in this trucking thing, about 9, 10 years. Because even in year 7 and year 8, I was still learning, right? Because I had entered into the world of warehousing. I'm my own 3PL now. So I'm learning that at that time. So I'm still learning at that point. Now I've done everything from moving, final mile, warehousing. And that's how I can sit here confidently and talk candidly, know what I'm talking about, because I've been doing it for a very, 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 very long time. So experience has got me to this point. So in order to be, I think, a consultant, you got to have years and years and years of experience. There's people that go to school to consult, But if they don't have that hands-on experience and years of that hands-on experience in whatever particular field, they're not going to be good at it either, because you're going to get asked questions that you may not know the answer to, because you may have not experienced what that person is coming to you for advice for. I know what it feels like to be sued as a trucking owner, right? I know what it's like to have trucks get in accidents. I know what it's like to have a workers injured. I know what that feels like. I know that sleepless night when Aaron we were doing a job where we were for powder coating, where it was a full gut rehab, but they were removing all the radiators, and one of my trucks was taking the radiators out of the house to take them to powder coat to get powder coating so they could bring them back a few weeks later. But because they were working on a house, it was an old house, those radiators were heavy. So the radiators that were coming from the second floor, as they were moving them down the stairs, Aaron, he's 6'5", maybe 200 some pounds. He's a big solid guy. So with those two guys and the weight of the radiator, and this being an old house that's under construction, he went through the stairs with the radiator. So what do you think I was thinking for the rest of that day and all night? I was worried that I was going to get sued. So I'm thinking and trying to problem solve that. What do I do? You know what? Let me cover all the medical expenses. He's been with me for a while. Let me take care of him. So hopefully he don't, it was an accident, it happened. And then I got the guy at the house talking about who's going to fix my stairs. So I had to get him together. Look, this guy fell through your stairs. We're not fixing your stairs. You better be cool, because he could technically sue me, my company, and he could sue you. We can't sue me. He works for you. No, we're on your property. My crew is on your property doing work for you through my company. So yes, you can be sued too, because this is your house. These are your stairs. They're not mine. They're faulty. You can be named on the lawsuit as well. So I think you need to figure out who's going to fix your stairs your damn self. The house is under construction anyway, so the stairs is probably going to get replaced anyway. So I'm having to deal with all this stuff. I'm having to deal with all this stuff, and this is just what comes with being a business owner. You know what I'm saying? Solving problems and experience and situations, and it's so many situations that I've talked about, and there's a lot of situations and things that I've come across in business that I haven't talked about. It's things that I forgot about. I be sitting up doing stuff, and then I be remembering just little things I went through at different points in the trucking business. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to talk about this on the channel. You know what I'm saying? So when you run a business for years, 365 days a year for so many years, you don't necessarily remember everything. And then, some things come back. I may see something, and then something may pop into my head. But experience is I think is going to be what you need to do that, James. He said, in other words, don't be a fool and purchase mentorship. Listen to me. I told Kirk this earlier. I'm probably going to go on a ban the mentorship campaign. You know what I'm saying? Because I just think so many people, and the reason why, I just think I don't think the people that are selling the mentorships fully understand what a mentorship should entail, outside of the fact that people contacting you. I think a lot of people have been getting by with not being fully knowledgeable, all right, to even be able to sell mentorships. I also want to educate people that, purchasing a consultant is like purchasing a mover or purchasing a plumber. You're going to do your due diligence. You're going to ask for references. You're going to look at reviews. If you're paying someone a large amount of money for experience, basically, I think that person should have experience. And until I started going on that particular campaign, a lot of people didn't even think of that. You know what I'm saying? So it's imperative. And then the person who does have experience, I don't even do mentorships. So I told Kirk, I'm like, man, I'm gonna really start going hard on those mentorships. And I know you do a mentorship. He said, man, do your thing. So, I really think, and just to be honest with you, and I'm not trying to, I don't, listen, I don't have issues with nobody, man. Nobody. But I see where an issue is in the space, and the right thing for me to do is to say something. Listen, and this is facts, so this is not me shitting on nobody. Between me and Kurt, you got the whole industry, right? You got the experience. You got cargo vans. Kirk started with a cargo van. I ran cargo vans. You got box truck middle mile. You got curbside final mile. You got big and bulky final mile. You got moving. You got semi truck, and you got warehousing. Between both of us, we've done all of that. So with me with the moving and the warehousing and the big and bulky, we both done cargo van. We both done curbside. He's done semi. So you get everything. You get the whole landscape of the trucking industry. Between me and him. And we put out enough content. And if people just take the time and dissect the content, like I don't do coaching sessions out the wazoo. I looked at that girl Box Truck Chanel. She did like a screen video of all the coaching sessions she booked. She doing like 4-5 coaching sessions a day. I may do one a week. I haven't did a coaching session probably about 2 or 3 weeks. No cap. I don't do coaching sessions like that. Why not? Because I give out so much free information. Really don't need to book a coaching session. The people who book the coaching sessions, they want like a strategy that like they're in really deep shit. So they need my help for me to look at their books or strategize on how to get them out of the hole they're in, or they're the position where, they're doing good and they want to know, it's now the right time to scale. Can you look at what I got going on? And they want my honest opinion on if I think they're ready to scale. But for the most part, like I've given people everything they need, I think, to at least, get started, know where to start, how to start, you know what I'm saying, and ultimately be successful. The people who pay attention and listen and hear every week, that don't miss nothing, they get it. So they get it. There's nothing wrong with being honest. You know what I'm saying? I don't have no choice but to be honest. What I'm gonna lie for? I've done it for years and been successful at it. So I don't have to lie or, over exaggerate to get people to buy in. If a person just listen to me and just know what I'm talking about. And that's why I don't have to go overboard and show shit, right? Because the amount of information that I give, you don't see I'm not reading off of me. I'm looking at the camera. I'm talking to you guys. People ask me questions and I answer them. To know the information that I know, obviously I know it from from doing it for so long. You know what I'm saying? So my information, is what sets me apart, from everyone else. I don't have to exaggerate. I've done it, so I can sit here and talk about all these years from an experienced, point of view. So, it is what it is. Let me see. I just want to make sure I didn't miss nothing. That work they know the streets and address. Where do you get to Mark? Evan doesn't even do that. Mark. Is Ryder focused on big and bulky? Yeah, so Ryder is focused on big and bulky. That was the point of our meeting yesterday. That was the big and bulky technology department. So I met with the head guy in the technology department for big and bulky. So yeah, they do have a big and bulky focus. With that being said, are you moving into the 3PL area for yourself? Me, no. I did 3PL. I cross dock for a couple years, and if I had the opportunity to do it again, I wouldn't. I've made my money. I've done very well, and I divested. That's the point. I got out. I divested at the height. We'll never see that again. Like you'll never see a housing mark. The rates houses were after the crash. We'll never see that again. Someone asked me, my trainer asked me yesterday. He came to me for advice. He's like, man, do you think we'll ever see a market again like '08? I said, no, we'll never see that again. You know what I'm saying? No. So will we ever see, the only way we'll see the trucking, you'll see rates and things like that again is if we have another pandemic. If we have another pandemic and an overabundance of stimulus is given out, then what you saw in 2020 and 2021 and the early part of 2022, you'll see a repeat of that. But if we don't have another pandemic, then no, you're not going to see a repeat of that, right? So with me knowing that then, I said, you know what? I'll never get a chance to sell depreciating assets at appreciated value. And me being smart, knowing and seeing the behavior of the workforce at that point, I said, man, people ain't coming back to work. Whatever this is that we're in, this is me talking to myself then, late 2020. Whatever this is that we're in, they're saying another 2 years, 3 years. If it's 2 or 3 more years of this, when it's finally over, it's going to be hard to get people to come back to work. So I can sell off assets for 2 to 3 times the amount that I purchased them for over 10 years ago. That never happens. So when we sell majority of it, we'll keep some just for an insurance policy, and we'll see what happens. And I did the right thing. You know, so I made money. I made money on the divest. Right now we just do big projects. If it's not a big project, don't call me. And I have other businesses, other streams of revenue, other assets, other investments. So, and I've been setting this stuff up over the years. So no, I will never do another business that would require an infrastructure like the one that I built. You know, all those trucks, all those people. I'm at the point now where, you know, building that infrastructure gave me all the tools that I needed to invest into other things that I don't have to deal with that type of infrastructure, if that makes any sense. So money that I make and ideas and things that I start now are pretty much automated, that don't require an overabundance of people. They don't require an overabundance of time, right? And you don't want to invest in things now that require people because people are hard to come by, right? So my mindset of business now is different from my mindset of business 15 years ago, right? My mindset of business, let's say 12, 13, 14 years ago, like one of my buddies said, you know, and the reason why I'm in the mind state that I'm in now is because I had a buddy that always would say, man, you got an old mob mentality of doing business, and that worked for you back in the day. You got to transition your mind to the way things are now and the way things are about to become. And this is something he was telling me in 2019, 2018. Because I was coming up with ideas to build new businesses with full infrastructures, towing companies, and all this stuff that I would have to build out, buy more equipment, more trucks, and have to depend on people. No, start thinking about stuff where it's going to require less people and less time. Start thinking of stuff that you can build, that's innovative, and you can sell. And that's the mindset that I have now, right? The reason why I can do that type of stuff now is because of trucking. Without trucking, right, I wouldn't have the capital, the money, the assets that I have now to be able to do and invest in these things. So trucking got me to this point that I don't have to build out a business with an infrastructure like that. You know what I'm saying? So, I'll never build out nothing like that no more. No, 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 no. I don't want to deal with no people. Listen, those years of dealing with all them employees, like I had an employee up here. He told y'all how I was. I was an asshole. Why was I wasn't an asshole on purpose. It was grueling every day, early days, late days. I'm dealing with 25, 30, 35 people, trucks, logistics companies, people calling, you know what I'm saying? People wanting better rates, people not listening, my brother's handling all that. I got Genesis over there. I got Stack, all these people. Man, what Mark at? Can we talk to Mark? Man, tell Mike, man, whatever you say, Telly, whatever you say, tell Mike, man, Mike want to talk to you, man. What's up, Mike? Man, Mark, can you do it for $650? Man, we need $7. That was grueling, man. I ain't finna go through that no more. Them days is over with. Them days is over with. I bust my ass all those years so I could do what I'm doing now. Just make money while I'm chilling. That's the thing. At 43, I'm living a dream that a lot of people have to work to 65 now. What's the retirement age now? 65, 67? No, man. I'm living a dream at 43, man. So I put my head down. I did what I was supposed to do. I worked really hard. I appropriated money. I purchased assets. I invested. And I did what I had to do. And when it was time to divest, I divested at the right time. That's what you're supposed to do as a business owner. Yeah, but you say subcontractors, but here's the thing. I don't want to deal with back office. I don't want to deal with subcontractors. I don't want to deal with none of that, because you're still dealing with people indirectly. And it's going to be somebody that's dealing with those people that's going to deal with you directly. And when they need something, they're going to contact you. I don't want to deal with that. Like if I was to ramp up real estate right now, right? Let's say I was to ramp up, even though I wouldn't right now because of the market. It's just like, but let's say the market was at a good place. Let's say the rates were about 2.5%, 3%. And I was looking to ramp up on real estate. If I were to get into real estate, I wouldn't even deal with the day-to-day of that. I'm just not at that place anymore in my life. 15 years ago, yes, I was younger, 29, 30. I want to be hands-on on everything. I want to know all the tenants. I want to collect rent from them. I want to cut the grass. I want to be there when they're cutting the grass. I want to be there when the plumber comes. I want to be able to I want to be the guy to let the guy in the basement to change the water heater. I want to be there when the roofing company comes to put a new roof on. That was who I was back then. Hence me being able to build a successful moving and trucking company. If I was to get into the real estate business now, I would hire a property management company, and I would pay them the 10% gladly. Why? Because I'm going to buy property. I'm going to Section 8 them out. I don't want to deal with them. I'm going to get a property management company. I'm going to say, here, take 10%. I'm going to say any repairs or anything that needs to be fixed that's less than $250, approve it automatically. I approve it automatically. Bill me for it. If it's over $250, then call me. Anything under $250, just fix it and bill me for it. Anything over $250, don't call me for nothing unless it's over $250. Y'all handle everything. I will give you your 10%. I don't want to deal with nothing. I'm at that point now. I don't want to deal with nothing. I want to look on my phone and see money coming in as credits, and I want to see debits going out for bills that need to pay. This is what I want to do. This is what I want to do, and this is what I'm doing right now. This is my day. Everything gets handled on my phone. I do this all day. I don't want to even do this. I don't even want to have to put the phone up to my ear. I want to do this. Send me an email. Approved. What? The toilet? What? They had to one of your units, the toilet, they had to ride the toilet. All right, well, it was more. They had to go 50 feet out. The guy's charging 300. All right, approve. I'm just gonna put approved in the email. I ain't gonna even say thank you. I'm just gonna put approved, send. That's all I want to do. I don't want to do nothing, man. Nothing. Forget 2.5. Those rates were fake. 6, 7, 8 still ain't bad. 6, 7, and 8. It ain't bad. You know why it ain't bad? Because it's not the highest. In the 80s, rates went up to 16, 17%. So 6 to 7, 8 ain't bad. That's why I'm telling people now, you may not see a retracement. This may be the new norm. I mean, you go look in history. That's why I say knowledge is key. In the 80s, rates went up to 16.78, 17%. So, if they're raising the cost of wages for fast food to $20 an hour, trust me, they know something we don't. I don't think we're going to see a retracement. I think what they're doing right now is they're getting people accustomed to the way things are. And over time, people are going to get accustomed to it. It's just like fuel. Some people in here may not remember, like Dun Beasy say he's 22. Shout out to my haters. There's always one hater that come in and get a thumbs down. Like, I don't really think I've said anything that even deserves a thumbs down. That's why I know I got one hater. Listen, all my videos have one thumbs down. So that's just one hater that really just doesn't like old Marky Mark. But I was listening to somebody, and they say you need 20% haters. You need 20% haters. So actually, I need to get my haters up. So I need to piss some more people off. So I need to figure out something to piss some more people off. I think I'm doing a great job of, telling people to stop paying for these box truck mentorships. I think I'm going to start telling people, listen, if the creator doesn't have 10 years of experience, you shouldn't be listening to him. And then I'm going to do a whole segment on why you shouldn't listen to him. Because I need to get my haters up to 20%. One of my mentors said, man, you need 20% haters. And I don't quite have 20%. So I got to piss some more people off, guys. So that's what I'm going to be working on over the next few months. But shout out to the one hater. I appreciate you for watching. I hope you have a happy holiday. I hope, God blesses you with all your heart's desire. And I need you here Monday to hit the thumbs down button again, because it doesn't affect me. It doesn't take any money out of my pocket. It doesn't make me not sleep at night. I sleep really, really good on a lot of thread counts. It's very comfortable and cushy. When I go to sleep, the room is the right temperature. I have a heated garage. My cars are parked downstairs in heated garage, so I don't have to worry about like warming my cars up and things like that when it gets really, really cold. Like, I live a very, very a good life, so you're not doing anything to, piss me off. I actually appreciate you because it lets me know that you're here. You're watching me. I'm not watching you. All right, so I need you here Monday for the Wiseman podcast so you can do the same thing that you just did. I need you here again Wednesday, Thursday. Make sure you're here next Thursday. Don't be late because you're late. You're late. I've been on for 2 hours and 31 minutes. All right. You're late. All right. I was looking for you an hour ago. All right. And I know who you are. All right. So make sure you're here on time next week to hit the thumbs down button. All right. And I'm going to send you a gift card for Christmas because I know who you are. I'm going to send you a gift card. All right. So yeah, I feel you, Mark. I'm only in this industry till about 31. Then I'm divesting, entering into different investments. Yeah, then that's what you're supposed to do, man. You're supposed to do that, man. Listen, you don't want to work till you 67, man. That's the new retirement age. I remember when I was a shorty growing up, it used to be 55. As time goes on, the retirement age keeps going up. Why? Because the cost of living keeps going up. People have to work longer, more years. The cost of living keeps going up, and the pension percentage keeps going down. I remember back in the day, on a city pension. Like, I got a homie whose father been retired for about maybe 15, 20 years. He was on an old city pension, about 90%. My OG on a big high rate percentage city pension. But now, these pensions, man, they steady going down on the percentage. So people have to work longer unless the company give you an early buyout where they make it worth your while to get out, where they force you out because they want to bring in newer, younger talent. But that retirement age keeps going up. And then you have people that retire, like people that retire at 65, and then they go take part-time jobs. Like those old people that you see when you go into Walmart that's greeting and doing the little easy job, because they don't want to do the register. They just doing this moonlight. They retired. They just need to pick up a job while they retired. They do the fitting room where they just fold the clothes in the fitting room. Like those old people, you're like, man, why are you here? Those people actually retired on a pension, but they have to pick up another job to make ends meet. That's why it goes back to what I was talking about earlier. You want to start setting yourself up for something later on down the line, a solo 401k, a Roth IRA. If you make more than $150,000, you might want to look into a solo 401k because you can invest more. I was just talking to Kirk about this earlier. If you make less than $150,000, maybe a Roth IRA, you want to start investing into this stuff now so you can have something for later. Long-term investments on paper assets, stocks, long-term, not the short-term play. You want to invest in companies that, are long-term investments. There's riskier investments too, but, you want to do the same knowledge that you would do entering into the box truck space. Real estate isn't bad. You want to take that money when it's booming. Listen, look how many people made money hand over fist during the pandemic that came into the box truck space, even though they came in ignorant because they were listening to uninformed content creators who had just come into the space themselves, and they were selling them. I can't even say they were selling them a dream. They didn't even know better. They just thought that the way things were at that point, that's just how they were, and they weren't. But look how many people came into space at that time and were making an egregious amount of money, right? And while they were making that money, you know what they were doing with it? They were spending it. That was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to run up a bag and invest that money and take that money and tuck it somewhere. You talking about people that's running for $10+ a mile. And none of them people ain't got shit to show for it. None of them people. Even the people that's still in the space now, they ain't got shit to show for it. Nothing. Why? Because they didn't have the discipline. They didn't even have the knowledge to know to have the discipline. So, when there is another boom phase, if there ever is another one, right? Or let's say there's some type of economic event that causes people, let's say another pandemic. Let's just make the scenario easy. Let's say if it's another pandemic, next year, and you have a repeat of 2020 and 2021, right? You know what's going to happen after that, right? So while the rates are really, really high, you need to be working really, really, really hard, right? And making as much money at those exorbitant rates as possible and stashing a lot of that away, right? And appropriating it into other assets that are going to pay you money. I wouldn't even put it in the bank. I would put that straight into money. Listen, the bank ain't going to give you nothing. I don't keep my money in the bank. I keep enough money in the bank just to pay bills. I park my money in the stuff that's getting me at least 5% returns. At least 5% annually. Not getting that at the bank. You know what I'm saying? So, I always said my money is like soldiers. I got to keep sending it out to recruit more soldiers. And sitting in the bank is not recruiting any soldiers. It's just sitting there dormant. It's like HIV and Magic Johnson. It's just dormant. You know what I'm saying? It's just sitting there. It's just dormant. It ain't doing nothing. No, I need those dollars. Each dollar I needed to go out in the field and recruit more soldiers and bring them back so I can send them right back out to go recruit more soldiers. And in order to do that, you have to move your money around and invest in the things that's working. The money got to work. You got to look at money as a tool. And that's your second biggest thing as a business owner. Your first thing is going to be knowledge, like I showed in that blackboard presentation earlier. Then the second thing to me is money. Once you got the knowledge, then you know how to appropriate and use the money. The money is a tool. And people don't look at money like that. I look at it as a tool. I don't work for money. I make money work for me. I don't like cash. Cash is filthy and it's bulky. I used to love cash. I used to walk around with big wads of cash and all that shit. Now I can't remember the last time I had cash. I swear to God, I can't remember the last time I touched a dollar or a coin. I go to the store and buy something for 50 cents. I'm tapping. Cash is too bulky. It's filthy. You know what I'm saying? No, I don't use it. I don't like cash. And I only use the bank to pay bills. So when that money is coming in, Big Zo, you got to appropriate it into other places that's going to bring more money in. You got to appropriate it to things that's going to bring more money in, so that, as you're working those 10 years, you got that plan and you're counting those days down. Right? So now you're making that money, you're appropriating it, and now you got more money coming in. And as you get closer to that exit date, you can kind of see where you're at, set a goal for yourself. And if you got to go and invest more aggressively, right? So that you can, exit or divest, at the time that you got set, okay, I got to go more aggressively. And in order for you to go more aggressively, right? So you have to invest more money into whatever other avenues you're going down to bring in more money. If that means you got to work harder in this to be able to go more aggressively in these other avenues, then so be it. That's the beautiful thing about having a timeline. You can kind of give yourself a goal and you can work towards it. And then, okay, at the 5-year mark, are you at 50% of that 10-year goal as far as where you want to be capital wise? If not, boom, you need to work a little bit harder so that you can invest a little more aggressively so you can catch up, so that when that 10-year mark comes, you've met your goal, you can divest, and then you can go off to greener pastures. Mark, what do you think about buying your stocks through your bank apps like Chase? I've never done that. So I buy, I'm not going to tell you what I buy, but I buy through applications, and the applications that I buy through, I insure them. I pay whatever the fees that I need to pay to insure my portfolio. So I don't use the banks to purchase my stocks through. Put money in the bank is worthless. Exactly. 0.00001. It's like I haven't put money in the bank in years, man. Years. I invest money into other things that's working for me. And it don't necessarily have to be stocks. Even if you want to park some money, I've been parking money in USDC. Yep. At least I'm getting 5% there annually. So if I have money that's not invested into something, I park it in USDC and take the 5%. And they're going to insure that up to $1 million. So yeah. Banks are, nah. Doesn't the tent building require infrastructure? Nope. So the tent building here, what they're going to do for the migrants, they're sourcing empty city lots, and just going to build a tent city is what they're calling it. Now, as far as what you're thinking, probably as far as infrastructure, no. the issue that they're seeing and why everybody disagrees with the mayor is because the tents that they're sending, if we get a 30-40 degree blizzard wind, those tents gonna blow away, man. They gonna rip through them tents like a a warm slice of bread and a sharp butter knife. Man, they gonna rip straight through them tents. So I don't know what this mayor's thinking, but no, they just basically building a tent city and they just setting up the tents. From what I've seen, I don't even think they're gonna stake them into the ground. So I don't know. I gotta get more information on them, but nah, from what I hear, there's gonna be an empty lots. It's up to you. Say you keep your money in Coinbase USDC. Yep, you can put it in Coinbase. Yep, USDC. They pay 5%. Yep, yep. Coinbase do pay 5%. I have my money in stockpile, easy to liquidate in a few days if needed. Yep. Yeah, you could liquidate it straight out of USDC too. Same day. I think maybe same day you pay 1%. You can get it next day if you're willing to wait a day or two. But I think for 1%, you can yank out, depending on how much money you got in there. I think the most they'll let you do with $1 million is about 50,000 a day. So you said that's good. They will pay you again to deliver again. Who you talking about? Who you talking about? I like the 200 sheet count. Let me see. 10% is cheap. The compliments and not wanting to pay their rent on time is for the birds. As soon as the tenant moved out, I got a PM. Yeah, 10% is cheap. For me, I'd rather just pay the 10% and just not deal with it. Like, man, I just don't want to deal with nothing no more. When the tents blow away. Yeah, when the tents blow away. So check this out. When I was building the tents for the for the pandemic, for the pop-up COVID testing, those tents was ripping through. And we were staking those tents, right? We were staking those tents, but the wind was ripping them. The wind was ripping through them tents. So, the stakes would still be in the ground, but the plastic part, the tent plastic covering part, man, that rip was, man. So the things with stake, I went back so they paid us to do the installs, but then they paid us to go do repairs, right? So boom, we got a service call for one of the tent, and the wind had ripped the thing up, but it couldn't move it because it was staked. So the wind just twisted. So like the poles were just twisted. It just twisted the thing. Like, we not called the Windy City for nothing. So, you talking about 30, 40 mile per hour winds with the cold. That's why it could be -10, but it'll feel like -50, a -50 wind chill factor. So, yeah. No. So this is like, okay. So for a situation like this, I still do big projects. If I can make $100,000 in 30 days, sign me up. I will manage and delegate. If I can make $100,000 in 30 days, I'm going to get that. You see what I'm saying? But now if it's some long term, okay, I buy some buildings or something, it's a long term. No, hire a property management company. Mark, do you ever want to build another trucking company? No, because that's a long term thing. But this is something short term, right? Because this is a short term project. It's October 19th. Garter World got the contract. These tents are on the way. All right. So these tents have to get built in 30 days. So if I can make a quick 100,000 in 30 days, I'll, deal with it for 30 days for a quick 100. It's people that don't make 100 in a year. It's people that don't make half of that in a year. Well, I'll go hire some people and I will be on site. I will be I'll make sure I have my knee pads on and my gloves, and I'll stake some tents too. Yeah. Yeah, that's different. That's different. That ain't no, that's some short term. That's a quick that's what we call a quick hitter, a quick hitter. No, I'm gonna go get that. I'm going to go get that. So shit. I had an idea. Maybe you'll maybe have a short segment once a week. So highlight accomplishment your viewers have had recently. I think sharing a good energy would be. I'll keep that in mind. I'll keep that in mind. They trying to make the immigrants comfortable for the long term. I don't think they're trying to make them comfortable at all. You know what I'm saying? Like, I thought about segmenting it, but then again, like, I don't want to just be videotaping people who probably living. They interviewed some of them on the news here, and they had a translator, and they said, man, they were living better where they came from, Venezuela, wherever they came from. They said they was living the shit they escaped from. They said they were living better there. They said they didn't know that coming here they were going to be living on the street. So, yes, if y'all could see the conditions they living in here, it's bad. They living on the street. Like, literally, the buses arrive every day and then they ship them to the different police stations throughout the city. And the police, at first, when they first started happening, they would let them sleep inside. But once that one station had that measles outbreak and then another one had a lice outbreak, then they put them on the outside. And no, they're not making it comfortable. I have to drive past one every day because I live right down the street from one, and it's just garbage everywhere, and it's just it's an eyesore for my community. Since an eyesore, it's bad, man. It's not a good look. The process to win. So as far as that contract for Garter World, they're a big company. Like, I would never be able to win something like that on a national level. I'm fine with just contracting to do the actual physical work for the company that does have the national contract. Here, it's a political power play type thing. The people who are going to get contracted to do that work, you got to be in the who's who. You got to be in the know. So, depending on the communities, obviously the black, Chicago's Chicago's real segregated. So when it comes to like the black communities, the aldermans pretty much have this say so on where who's going to get rewarded to build them in those communities. So easy way, if you don't know the alderman, if you're plugged with one of the bigger pastors, which my OG is plugged in that aspect, that's how I'm kind of working my number. My alderman in that community, not in the community where I live, I would do it in the community I grew up in, where my mom's house is. I know him, but we're cordial. But every time I would try to go get things like certain little grants, because most of my staff at one point was felons, maybe like 80, maybe 90% were felons. So there was little grants and things that I would try to inquire to get, because I was employing all these felons and things like that. And I would just always get turned away. I guess because I wasn't contributing to the war chest when it came to election time. I remember I tried to open a car wash over there, and I had already did the build out on everything, and I was, going back and forth to City Hall, and then he didn't approve it. Something about the insurance, and I got to get sidewalk insurance because when the cars come out, I have to add the city as additionally insured, and he had to clear it. And I just, the whole back and forth and the run around back and forth, I just gave up on that project. It's a lot of stuff like I've done, investments that I've made that I've successful in, some that I weren't successful in, some that I've tried like this where I just walked away and gave up on. I could talk about so much stuff, you know, on this channel. But yeah, me and him, we just, we're cool, but like he ain't, my mom goes up to the office, she asks for something, man, listen, maybe because she's older, she's abandoned house. Look, this house been abandoned. What if a little girl, I guess her being older, she's a voter. They, these politicians, they cater to voters. I'm a voter too, but she said, "Look, man, what if a little girl walked past this abandoned building, man? 2 weeks later, man, he sent the demolition crew, and they tore the building down. When she go talk to him, shit happens, shit moves. So for a situation like this, I'm just going through her. I'm gonna let her handle it for me. Mark, how can I learn more about investing? How did you learn about investing? Where and what to invest in, when to buy and sell? I learned about investing one by surrounding myself with people who invest. So I got a cousin who's like a mini real estate tycoon. I had another buddy who I was running with for years. I don't run with him anymore, but he owned liquor store. Yeah, he grew up in a family that owned liquor stores, so I learned about a lot of operational skills from him. When I was starting my business, there's another guy who I'm still good friends with who owned, when urban fashion was a big thing back in the early 2000s. His name is Jamal. He owned some successful urban clothing stores. This is back when like Academics and Artful Dodger and all that urban fashion was the big thing, and Nietzsche, Jordan Craig, all that stuff. So I learned a lot about I learned a lot about operations from him as far as like the business. Now as far as investing is concerned, my cousin who's like kind of a mini real estate tycoon, I've learned a lot from him. He's the type of guy he's like a guy that don't get nobody information. You know what I'm saying? He'll give me information. It's another guy from the hood that's really successful in real estate, and he's another guy that don't get nobody information. Now with him, I kind of have to like eavesdrop and put shit together on my own. Now as far as like paper assets and things like that, I just kind of educated myself and watching a lot of people who are considered experts in that space talk about paper assets as far as like what type of assets to invest in for the long term, what industries are good to invest in for the future. So like EV, tech companies, right? Like Facebook. I guess I would say Tesla is a tech company. I wouldn't consider it an EV company. So listen to people like Kathy Woods, people like that, as far as stocks are concerned. When it comes to like something like crypto, I still am a big fan of BitBoy Crypto. Even after they stole his company from him, I still, listen to him. It's because of him I was able to make just an egregious amount of money in the bull run of 2021. You know what I'm saying? He called some stuff wrong that bull run, and I actually called it right. I actually exited out of that market at the top as well. So I called it right because I called it wrong in 2017 because I just wasn't experienced, but I exited at the right time. And I didn't know it was the right time. I just knew I didn't want to ride it all the way to the end because, when investing, greedy pigs get led to the slaughter. So like same thing I was talking about, with the box truck, me divesting during the pandemic. If I would have held on, being greedy, holding on for dear life, running off of hope, which I tell people not to do, I would have got led to the slaughter. I would have had a bunch of assets. They would have been paid for. It wouldn't have been cost me much, but I wouldn't have been able. I'd have been kicking myself because I would have been able to get an egregious amount for them during the pandemic, and I would have been kicking myself because I was holding on due to emotional attachment, and just not letting go, and not and just realizing that what, you made money throughout your tenure, and you made money on the divest. So um, yeah, so just being around people who have been in business before me, eavesdropping, listening to people who are smarter in certain industries than me, even if they don't want to give me the information, just paying attention when they get on the phone and just putting things in my long-term memory. And when I get home or when I get somewhere by myself, just putting that stuff in the Google search to see what it is. Watching people that are smarter than me in industries that I'm investing into. Online, like Kathy Woods. I'm a big fan of hers. Uh, Ben Armstrong, for like my crypto investments. I got people around me that are big in real estate. So just always learning from people, and then simultaneously doing my own research as well. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, let's say for crypto, the reason why I like crypto so much is because you get bigger gains than the stock market. You get bigger gains. You get hundreds times the gains. Like, I made a lot of money today in Ripple, because of the Gary Gensler thing. You know what I'm saying? So I made a lot of money. Ripple went up 8% today. Made a lot of money. I've been investing in Ripple since 2020. That didn't have a run during the last bull run because of the SEC situation. So it was delisted. So people weren't really investing into it then. XRP is probably going to be the big winner, this next bull run of November 2025, right? So because it missed the last one. So, XRP is expected to hit somewhere, the experts are saying somewhere between $10 and $20. Right now it's 50 cents. I invest in the XRP every single day. I have it set on automatic so that if I forget, because I don't want to forget. So every day, 7 days a week, I get an automatic, I got an automatic buy. For Ripple every single day. And it's going to continue to be like that to about $2. Once it reaches $2, then I'm going to stop that and I'm going to ride it out. So wherever much I got is what I'm going to ride all the way out, and I'm going to start divesting a little at a time. So when the bull run comes and people start FOMOing in, I'll be slowly divesting because I don't want to get caught holding the bag. So once it really gets to that point where the media starts to talk about it like they do every bull run, and now TikTok people get in on it and get on it, I'm divesting that whole bull run because I have so many shares of it. I'm divesting. Every dollar it goes up, I'm pulling out. Right? Because with crypto, it's 24 hours. You don't want to go to sleep and then the market crashes and you trying to hold on for dear life, like a lot of people did for AMC, like a lot of people did for GameStop, thinking it was going to hit 500 and then it was going to hit 1,000. Those people that were buying in at 425, 435, 440, 450, they got caught left holding the bag. The people who bought in when it was $2 and $3, early 2020, that rolled it all the way up, they could have just been divesting the whole ride up. You're making money. You bought in at $3. So if you sell a portion at 100, you made a shit ton of money. If you sold some at 200, you made a shit ton of money. If you sold some at 300, you made a shit ton of money. You bought at $3 each share. So you have to, the business is buying and selling. Only a fool would start a business, build a business successfully, and hold on for dear life. Because if something happens, like a pandemic or some type of other economic event that affects your industry, like how, let's say, the pandemic affected the restaurant industry, or how the housing market, those balloon payments that the banks were doing, how that affected the housing market, and those people lost their homes. You holding on to a business and you had an opportunity to exit at peak and you didn't, and then something catastrophic happens and now you're screwed. A business is you make a business to build it and sell it. Take your money, move on. So assets like stocks, crypto, real estate, I got a homie, my cousin, he was buying property because he had cash on hand during the housing market crash. Those places that he was buying for 20 and 30,000 back in 2010, 2011, he's selling those buildings now for 400 and 500,000. $30,000-$40,000 in full gut rehab, you in 60, 70,000 all in. For a 2-3 flat you bought for 20, and then you sell it 11, 12 years later for 400,000-500,000. All while all these years you're making money off the tenants. You buy low, you sell high. So you get in the Ripple now at 50 cents, it's going to do at least $10. I'm not a financial advisor, so don't listen to me. I'm just telling you what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? It get to $10. If it go to 20, shit, you made. If you got 1,000 shares right now at 50 cents, you spend $500. If it goes to $20, that $500 investment made you 20 grand. It made you $19,500. So, just knowing when to get in. That's why I always talk about early adopters. It's nothing to me because I've been through it before. So, I just invest every day. You know what I'm saying? Every single day. Every day. Certain assets pools every day, and that's one of them. Certain ones I invest in every week. Certain ones I invest in every day. And you just keep building your portfolio up that way. And you can invest at your own pace. You don't have to invest a lot of money. Something like that, even if you invest $5 or $10 over a period of time, you still got another year and a half. So that money is going to be adding up. And as the price continues to rise, you just continue to dollar cost average in. And then you just set a benchmark. Okay, boom, I want to stop. The predictions are, it's going to reach somewhere between $10 to $20. So you know what? I'm going to stop investing at $5, or I'm going to stop investing at $2 where I'm at. I'm going to stop. I'm going to ride it up. As it starts reaching those certain thresholds, I'm going to start divesting, because it's just a prediction. It's going to run up during the bull run, but you don't know if it's going to, hit that threshold that the analysts are predicting it to hit. Because once whales say, what, we made enough. We were buying in at a penny. We got billions of shares. So now once those whales start pulling out, they move the market, right? Then the price starts going down, right? And now you get caught left holding the bag. So now you can't, you got to know when to pull out. You can't be greedy. I never hold on for dear life. If they saying the prediction is $20, I'm probably exiting somewhere between 10 and 15 all the way out. If it goes up to 20, so be it. It don't matter to me because I bought in at 18 cents. So now if I'm holding on to wait till it get to 20, I'm just being greedy. And greedy pigs get led to the slaughter. Because I'm going to go to bed that one night at $18, waiting for just to come up that $2. And I done made $600,000 on this shit already. And it's just sitting there instead of me just being smart, taking that little $600,000-$700,000, whatever it is, let's say, right? Because I got an enormous amount of shares because I've been investing in this shit for 4 years, right? Since it was like 18 cents. And I go to bed because this is a 24-hour thing. This is not like the stock market where, at 3:30 it cuts off. I go to bed and whales start making a move at 2, 3 in the morning. I wake up in the morning, that shit back down to $9 or some shit. And it's steady tanking. See, people got to know that, but that's where the knowledge come in at. So me, no. If it's predicted to go up to 20, I'm exiting somewhere between 10 and 15. If it goes up to 25. But I'm already made enough money. So I'm taking that money out. I'm moving it into somewhere else. I'm going to put it in USDC, or I'm going to see what other play it still got some momentum, and I'm going to shift that shit over there somewhere. And that's how you play it. During your cross docking days, did you use any type of bank credit factoring where they're not available? Did you have to float? I floated the whole thing. I talked about this a few times. So I floated the whole thing. I actually talked about it recently. I actually did a cross docking live stream maybe about a month ago, and I talked about I floated the whole thing. So basically, with cross docking, you're not treated like a contractor, right? You know, they figure like, look, you got a warehouse, so you're smart. You got a warehouse, so that means you're smart. You got a warehouse, you got everything that a warehouse should have to be able to receive 53 footers, right? So forklifts, things of that nature. So that means you have some type of money, right? So you got to wait for your money. When we get our money, then you get your money. So now we have to wait. So a lot of those deliveries, I didn't get paid for like a whole year. Once I stopped cross docking, and I told this before, so I stopped cross docking in March of that year. They were so far behind in paying me that I got a settlement every single week from March all the way to the end of October of that year. That's how far behind the payments were. So every single week, the last day we cross docked in early March, I got a payment every single week all the way through the end of October. So, we didn't get paid until they got paid. That's how they treat it. I didn't float it. So that year, that prior year where I was floating all that, I did. That was a year that was tough for me. So 2017 was kind of tough for me in business because we were doing just a lot of deliveries, and then not nonstop, but Veterans Distribution, which was a larger cross docking company here in Chicago. They did all the Home Depot stuff. We didn't do Home Depot, right? They did all Home Depot. They did all the Home Depot deliveries, and they did all the reverse logistics. But their warehouse got to a point where they didn't have room, and they didn't want to do any reverse logistics anymore for Home Depot because a lot of Home Depot stuff was big and just took up a lot of space. It could be doors, it could be, 2x whatever. So, we would get average about 20 to 30 loads would drop in my portal a day. You know what I'm saying? And then one day I looked in my portal, I had like 247 new orders, and majority of them were Home Depot. I called them and they were like, man, veterans said they don't want to do reverse logistics for Home Depot anymore. Is it going to be a problem? Can you handle it? So obviously I took it because it was more money, but I'm floating all this, right? The only reason I was able to sustain is because I had a successful moving company. And obviously moving makes a shit ton of money. So the moving company floated the trucking company, but it was floating it throughout the whole year because, we would have spurts and deliveries where, let's say this pay cycle, I would have 2 trucks running. They were doing 15 stops a day, let's say. So I got one truck that's doing all deliveries, and I got one truck that's doing all pickups, returns, a lot of returns for Wayfair. So you figure like 30 stops a day, that's a lot of stops. That's a lot of goddamn stops. And that, the payroll for that account was high, right? But the settlement that may have come in for that account, so my payroll for that account might have been $3,000 for that payment period. But the settlement I might have got was $700. Now, the settlement, there was no uniform way that settlement would come. It was just basically off the accounts that they had, accounts receivable had received for pickups or drop-offs we'd done in no particular order. $700 worth of orders were paid, so they paid us. So my payroll for that account for that particular pay period might have been $3,000, but I only might have got $700 in. So, damn near by the end of the year, I was tapped out, right? Damn near, because I was robbing from the sustainability of the moving company. So all my profits from the moving company, I was floating that over to the trucking company. And I didn't get my money back until the following year when I stopped cross docking, and all that money started to come in throughout the rest of that year when we weren't running. I was getting a settlement every week. So some weeks one week it might have been 5,000, one week might have been 6, one week it might have been 800, one week it might have been 1,200, the next week it might have been 3,500. So it was sporadic. But I eventually made my money back the following year, but I think 2017 was rough. It was fine at first, but when the fall came and moving slowed down, man, I found myself, I started having to pay, because then I had to start loaning the company money. And then obviously the company repaid me back the following year once those accounts receivable started coming in. But that was a tough time in business for me. It wasn't tough, because the work wasn't there. It was tough because of the nature of cross docking. You working on accounts receivable, so I don't think I never, to be honest with you, I never even looked into see if I could factor for warehousing. But even if I could have, I probably wouldn't have, because that 3% at that time, how I am. I talk about the margins. I would have just thugged it out. If I got to thug it out for a year, like I did, and I made my money back the following year. Sometimes that's what you got to do as a business owner. Sometimes that's what you got to do. So I would have rather thugged it out instead of giving up that 3%. Hey, Mark, how did you handle your employee health coverage costs? How does that work? Just curious. 50%. So the people that were full time, we paid in 50%. Medicaid, Social Security, all that stuff comes out automatically in quarterlies. Full time employees that I opted to do that for, company paid 50%. What you think is the best opportunity now? Get in right now. You can get in whenever you want, just as long as you know, do the knowledge. What I was talking about earlier before you get in. Do your business plan, research the market that you're getting into. Make sure you do your market analysis. I don't know which lane you want to jump into, but do an overview of all the lanes, do a market analysis, and just have a full understanding of what you're investing into. Don't invest into something that you don't understand. You may do a market analysis, do a full overall analysis of the industry, and you may say, it may be more beneficial for me to come in with a cargo van. And I think ultimately a lot of people should come in with a cargo van right now. I think, if I were to invest in the space, and I say this all the time, but I'm gonna have to repeat it because I got new subscribers all the time. If I were looking to get into the space right now and reinvest into the space and ramp up again, I wouldn't do it with a box truck. I'd do it with a cargo van. I just think it's more opportunity. I would just take a page out of Amazon's book. Jeff Bezos is one of the things he was smart at. When he was building out his logistics infrastructure, he's I don't agree with everything he does, but in a lot of things he's smart at. Look, how much shit does Amazon ram into those vans, right? You can ram a shit ton of packages into those vans, right? Those vans are big enough, right, to ram hundreds of stops, hundreds of small packages, hundreds of stops into those vans, but they're small enough, right, that they don't have to abide by the federal government regulations like truckers do. So they're big enough to get 150 stops done, right, to be able to stock them with 150 stops worth of small parcel packages, but they're small enough that they don't have to run to the federal regulation guidelines, right? So with that being said, and with e-commerce, just continuing to grow year after year after year, right? And to know that when there's an economic downturn and consumer buying behavior has shifted, and people aren't buying big, bulkier things, but they still are buying essentials, I would buy something that and invest into something that even during an economic downturn, I won't see it because the things that people are going to need, this business model is going to be the business model that's going to be able to supply and service those people. You know, it's less it's less it's cheaper to get in, right? The regulations aren't there like a box truck, so you can pretty much operate at your will. Like I said, it's big enough to stock hundreds of stops, 100+ stops, but it's small enough that you don't have to run under federal regulation uh, guidelines. You know, so there's going to be more work for a cargo van than a box truck. Like, you know, you can do your dedicated stuff in the morning, and then in the evening you can freelance as much as you want, damn near to midnight. You damn near can operate your van. You know, there's opportunity to operate your van 24 hours. So, you know, me personally, I would look at it like that. You know what I'm saying? And there's more people that your pool of applicants for cargo van work is bigger. So, you know, when you're doing risk assessment, you know, when you're starting your business and you're doing your business plan, you know, you got to think about that too. You know, is the box truck investing in the box truck, is it more riskier than investing into a cargo van? Right now it would be. Right? Right now it would be, you know, so yeah, I think it's a great time to get in. You know, it's just all how you get in, what lane you get in, how much it costs you to get in. You know what I'm saying? If you get in with a high initial cost, it may be a little difficult for you. You know, if you enter into a lane that's very competitive, which the OTR market is very competitive right now because the freight volume is lower, then yeah, brokers aren't wanting to deal with box trucks the way they used to, right? Plus, you know, you're dealing with all the other effects, after effects of the pandemics. Brokers not wanting to deal with box trucks. You know, you got companies now that are putting, you know, stipulations, 6 months authority, 9 months authority. Now they want to make sure that you're experienced, right? Because they had so many um, just bad things happen during the pandemic from new carriers. Just, you know, stolen freight, abandoned freight, just late pickups, late drop-offs, just all type of stuff. People not answering the phone. You know, Amazon had their whole little spiel too. People not wanting to wait at the post office, dropping post office pallets outside the post office when the post office was closed, just leaving the stuff out there, the whole pallet, just leaving it out there for anybody to pull up and steal. So there's a lot of variables that are at stake entering into the box truck space that just aren't, you know, that you don't have to deal with right now with a cargo van. So, uh, uh, how do I invest? I invest in a multitude of different places: Fidelity, Robinhood, Coinbase. You know, then I have my wallets. You know, where I do my cold storage. You know, hot wallets, you know what I'm saying, where a lot of my crypto assets are. I don't really keep a lot of that money on the exchange. I kind of store it, you know, in different wallets, Coinbase wallet. I ain't gonna tell you where the big money is at. I ain't gonna tell you what wallet that's at, but you know, just different wallets. Is where I store my money at. But as far as investments, Coinbase, Robinhood, Fidelity, M1. M1 is where I do a lot of my long term holds. So like long term holds like Facebook, Tesla. Amazon, stuff like that. Those are my long-term hosts I got over at M1. So yeah, it's a multitude of different places that platforms that I use. A small startup company can afford health insurance, right? Small startup company can afford health insurance, but if once you scale up to a certain point and you got some full-time employees, shoot, they can only work, if you work them 6 weeks consecutively at 30 hours plus a week, by law, you got to give them insurance. So, so you got to kind of play with people's schedule. If it's someone you're at scale and you got a multitude of trucks and a multitude of employees, you got to play with the schedule. 6 weeks, 30 plus hours, that's full time. 32 hours consecutive for 6 weeks, that's considered full time. So if you're working a person that many hours for 6 consecutive weeks, by law, you have to offer them full-time benefits. A lot of people don't know that. You'll be surprised how many companies that have people working those hours and don't offer them, because a lot of people don't educate themselves to know the law. So that goes back to what I was saying earlier, knowledge. Knowledge comes with experience. So how do self-employed business owners get health benefits? You purchase them. The same way I did when I first started back in the day. So I started in 2010. In 2011, I purchased my own benefits. And I still got those same benefits to this day. Well, you just purchase them. There's different platforms you can go on to purchase your own benefits if you're self-employed. Go on eSurance. I think that's the name of the website. E-insurance, e-health benefit. Hold on, I could let you know. I think it was eSurance what I used back in the day, but I think it was purchased. But I got UAC now, so which is, I think UAC, the company, I went through a broker in 2011 back in the day, so they just built me a plan, and I got transferred throughout the years, and ultimately I'm with United Health now. So you can just go straight to the website. You can go to United Health, you can go to Aetna, you can go to Humana, and you can just look and see what they have and go through the plans and pick a plan. If you don't know what you're looking at, then they have numbers you can call and you can kind of tell them what you want, and and they'll help you choose. So just buy it. What time is it? Would it be wise if I was to run my semi and purchase a cargo van and have someone run that to scale my company? Would it be wise if I was to run my semi and purchase a cargo van? You could do that, but you may have to take some time away from your semi truck to build a cargo van business up. You don't want to just buy the cargo van and throw somebody in it. How you going to train them? So you kind of want to, if you do that, you might have to take a little time away from the semi business to build the cargo van business up. When I say building up, not building up a fleet, but building that one van up as far as the work, going in, rubbing shoulders with the powers that be and the logistics companies, running the route, know what the route entails, so that you'll be able to train whoever it is that you hire, and you'll be able to give them, set expectations for them. Right? So that way when they're bullshitting you, they bullshitting you because you physically gone out and done the work. So you know what the route entails. Right? I think a lot of the problems that people have in this business when they do that is they don't have the hands-on experience. So they scale up or whatever the case may be. They go buy something and they throw a person in there and they've never done it to be able to know how to train a person and set expectations for that person. So I think you can do it, but you're gonna have to take time away from the semi so that you can actually build the cargo van business, then bring in a driver, hire them, set the expectations for them based off your experience of running, and then go back over to the semi. And then you should have better results that way, I think. I keep hearing your cargo van advice, but I've only seen medical, logistics, some accounts delivering dishwashing, microwave, small appliances. Is the money with the gas? No. So with cargo van, you want to get into office supply, dedicated office supply, either with Home Depot or Staples, and that's either going to be through T Force, Waco, or Capstone. T Force has Office Depot, Capstone, and Waco have Staples, depending on what market you're in. That's going to be your day route, right? It's dedicated, and then in the evening, that's when you go do your gig routes. You can pick 4 routes off the gig apps. Roadie provides routes, Carry provides routes, or you can do your one hitter quitters. They'll have like one hitter quitter pickup style. You can build you a route. Um, and you can do that into your heart's desire. So, if you finish your dedicated route sometime between 12 and 2, you still got the rest of the day. You can work to the wee hours of the night if you want. If you're in a market where there's opportunity available, and if there's no opportunity available on those apps, then you always got Amazon Flex. So with that van, you can opportunity is plentiful. There's nothing stopping you. There's no restraints or no restrictions like there are for a 26-foot box truck. 26-foot box truck, you can only operate so many hours out of the day. You're under federal, restrictions, federal guidelines. Where the cargo van, you're not. You can go into your heart's desire. So there's opportunity, not just in medical. Is there a scaling limit to trucking? No. No, ain't no scaling limit. If there was a scaling limit, you wouldn't have companies like JB Hunt and Schneider. You wouldn't have mega carriers. Build as your heart desires, as long as there's a need for more trucks and more people, and you can source those trucks, and you can source those people, and you can source um the work to provide to those people in those trucks. Then scale as big as you want. I cut my scaling off. Once I got to 15, I stopped. I didn't want to go because I was overwhelmed there. You know what I'm saying? So you can scale to your heart's desire. Cody Willard, this Mark dude still alive? Yeah, I'm still alive, bro. I'm answering questions. Why, you got a question? What time is it? Oh man, it's 11:20. I'm finna get out of here. Just here. Where's Kurt? Don't tell me you kicked him out the car. Now Kurt came off the road a few hours ago, so he probably chilling. Do you think a business degree will hold more value than self-obtained business knowledge? It helps. It helped me. I don't remember too much from college, but I remember some important stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like I kind of remember important stuff from college. I think a lot of my expertise came from hands-on experience. I think a lot of the economic stuff I learned from college. So I think me being, good in the economical aspect of business, that came from college. I had a good economics teacher in college. So I think hand in hand, they kind of work together. Pretty much everything else from college, I don't remember. A lot of those courses are not even relevant. They probably don't even offer those courses no more because tech wasn't as big as it is now. I was a freshman in college in '98. So you had courses like international business, stuff like that. And international business, they probably don't even offer that no more. They're offering cybersecurity and coding and gaming and all this type of stuff now. So I think to a certain degree, it helped me as far as the economics aspect, but most of my expertise came from hands-on experience. Nope. Nope. Never thought about it. You said when doing gig work, I try to combine Amazon Flex route deliveries with roadie carry freight. Okay. You mentioned your old business ideas require people and infrastructure like a towing company. What are some of your new ideas outside YouTube? I've I've done a lot of stuff. Some stuff has worked and it's working. Some stuff haven't. I invested in 2 apps a couple of years ago. Those didn't work, you know. So I invested into 2 apps and I tried them and well, we tried them because I had a partner on that. Um, and we just got drained. We couldn't withstand. I didn't want to withstand not even the learning curve, just the amount of money that it took to invest in that Apple into the Google Play Store to promote those apps. And then as far as not housing them but hosting them, it's very expensive. So after 6 months, I didn't see any traction, so we pulled the plug. I I started another company during the pandemic with a partner, a junk removal company. I talked about that. Right now, just a lot of paper assets, larger projects. We still do large projects. Um, I do a lot of consulting, corporate companies. Um, I'm thinking like a lot of the ideas I have now that I haven't implemented yet are more automated type. Like I'm actually thinking about getting a laundromat. I think there's still opportunity in laundromats if you find the right location, but I want to do a real high tech laundromat. And the reason why I thought about that is because I see Tide is starting to invest in laundromats, and for Tide to you know have a successful detergent business and to invest into brick and mortar, I thought that was strange. So once I started doing the research on it, people are lazy. People don't even want to do their own laundry anymore. So, I'm thinking about, doing like a coin laundry with a service, provide like a wash and fold. So that's something that only requires one person, right? You buy the washers, you buy the dryers. Um, you don't have to even deal with quarters anymore. They can buy a card, tap the card, put, the money on the card, put the card in the machine and pay. So that way I don't have to myself or send someone to dump these machines with quarters. Everything will be digital. So that's something that I'm thinking about. Now that's something that I don't want to do by myself. That's something that I'm not looking for outside partnership. That's something I would invest with like somebody like one of my friends so we could split the risk, which I don't think it'll be risk. I just don't want to have to dedicate myself to, operating it, dealing with the day to day. I would rather split that with someone else. So things like that, things that are automated that don't require an overabundance of people, don't require a lot of hands on. They kind of operate themselves because like even with that, after hours, let's say after the person who's managing the place goes home, the place will be under surveillance, and when the place closes, the doors will be on a timer and they'll automatically lock on their own. There's nothing in there that anyone can steal because it won't be a cash business. Everything will be done digital and just rock out like that. There's a lot of ideas. I don't want to get too many of my ideas that I haven't implemented or that I'm working on and investing in right now are way online. But, for the most part, just a lot of paper assets right now, that I've been heavily investing in. Best place to learn about market research online, depending on what what market, what you're looking to research. You know what I'm saying? So, but what it don't even matter. Whatever you're looking to research, you can find it online. So if you're looking to do market research on trucking, I would just start with doing market research in my local market. What are the demographics of my market? Is it low density or high density? What's the household median? Right? What's the household mean? So you don't know what the difference between median and mean is? Look it up. Understand the difference between median and mean. All right, and then start formulating an opinion. Okay, do I want to do curbside final mile? Do I want to do big and bulky final mile? I want to stay local. Is my market conducive for that? Is there enough work? You know, so all depends. Whatever you want to do market research on, you can find all that stuff online, man. You know, it's 2023. You know, so everything is online. All you gotta do is do the search. No, no. I mean, well, does Procter and Gamble, did Procter and Gamble purchase Tide? Because here I see Tide on the. It says Tide Cleaners. It has Tide's logo and it says Tide Cleaners. So Procter and Gamble, did Procter and Gamble buy Tide, or do they own Tide? I don't know. Do they? Yeah, Tide is a part of P&G. Yeah, so yeah, P&G, but Tide is the company. Procter and Gamble is the parent company, but Tide is the company, not the parent company. Tide the company. They're opening cleaners. So Tide, what is it? Tide. I think it says Tide Cleaners. I know there's one up north. Hold on, let me see. I drove past. I think it was on Clark Street or Broadway. Oh, and it's 24 hours. They do dry cleaning and laundry services, wash and fold. See, that's what I'm saying. When you see big companies like this start investing in the brick and mortars, you got to pay attention to that. Because people are lazy, man. We're in a lazy society right now. Man, I don't keep up with. I don't even use Tide, man. So I don't really know who on Tide. I don't use Tide. I use Game, man. So I'm real when certain things I'm really frugal. Like I'm not finna pay $22 for some Tide. Gain does exactly the same thing for $13.99. I get the big 170 what is it, 100 the big was it 170 low thing of Gain, and that's fine with me. You know what I'm saying? I'm not paying $22 for Tide. I don't buy Tide, so I could care who owned it, to be honest with you. I use Gain or I use Arm& Hammer. Kathy Wood and Big Boy Crypto, right? That's who I follow for crypto. All right, y'all, man. I ain't kicked it with y'all too long, man. I'm finna go to bed. I appreciate y'all. I think Kurt gonna do his testimonial next week. I kicked it with y'all for 3 hours and 40 minutes, which was an hour and 40 minutes longer than I expected. I answered everybody's questions. I will see you guys next week. I appreciate y'all for tuning in tonight. Peace. Peace out. Peace out. Peace out.